Okay. All right. All right. Test, test, test. Sound, sound. Oh, we look good. Sound good. Man, I think we're good. Ooh, ooh, dude, I don't know how, man. This, like, right before I got live, yo, I was like, bro, what's wrong with my voice, man? We haven't done anything. We didn't even have a game this week. I don't know what's going on, but we're back, man. DODcast, and look, man, this might be a special week. We might be live every day this week. I think that's a real possibility. Maybe outside of Sunday. I don't know. We might be down live every day this week. I'm going to lay out kind of the plan for this week. Training camp is getting ready to kick off. Even though this week we won't really get like a first-hand look at it, we'll probably have like articles and things that we react to of what actually happened this week. But next week is really when things pop off. But we'll have some news this week, I'm sure. So we might be live every day this week. Later in the week, probably going to be after practice, like later in the day. But early today, tomorrow, before training camp, early in the day, that kind of thing. All right, let me get this rolling. Make sure we're not glitching over here. Okay. The beat sounds good, man. Everything looks good. We got a lot of things to dive into today. Now the bottom looks kind of weird. That rookie rolls. I trying to change the font. That one looks a little strange. I got a feeling that one is not the right color. Neither is AFC North. AFC North looking at me kind of funny. So I don't know. Those two look kind of strange. That's fine. That's fine. We'll figure that out. JT's in the building. So ready for football season. Man, it's crazy how close it is. Like the more I think about it, I'm like, yo, it's about to pop. I mean, once training camp gets started, you are getting right into preseason games. So we're right around the corner for preseason. I got the list. Well, I have a look of what Bleacher Report is going to look like for this upcoming month. And man, it's crazy. Like they had reaction stuff on there. Like, yo, react to the preseason game. I'm like, what? We're already there already? Hey, man, that's where we're at. And then, college football, I guess, is a little bit different because it's not as much as the news and stuff, but that's right around the corner as well. They start right like a week early, usually of the NFL in terms of regular season. It's really like the NFL starts first, but college football kind of starts first, like in terms of what actually counts. And I'm fired up this year because I'm set to go to the Michigan football opener. And I've been just fired up about that for weeks, bro. I've been fired up. Like, yo, never been to a Michigan football game. Fresno State at home, 7:30 start. I'm fired up. I'm hoping that coming off the surgery, I'll be good. Like I won't, have too many problems getting around. Because outside of that, this season is going to start off with a bang, man. Who else is in the building? Michael's in the building. I see you. What's up, Michael? Joe is here. Shane, Joe gave me the thumbs up. He said I sound good. Okay, I appreciate that, Joe. Shane is here. What up? Nothing much, Joe. Nothing much, Joe. I'm just excited, man. This is like, hey, also the shirt. Come on, man. I know. Look, you can't really see it because I got the thing, but I just had to. The shirt goes fire, man. I got this like a couple weeks ago. It's like my favorite shirt. It's quickly becoming my favorite shirt. But I'm saving, shirts that I've worn because I'm saving some of the fire shirts that I've gotten from my man Jordy. Jordy sent over some fire Lions shirts. I'm saving those until practice kind of pops off. Then we'll react to that. Well, not react to those, but wear those during shows at training camp, that kind of thing. I'm saving those. Okay. I don't want to wear those. I want to save those. Kenneth is in the building since Detroit Lions are going to the playoffs. Honestly, though, we talk Super Bowl and stuff like that, and that's a lot of fun. But as we all now know, I mean, we hear it, but as we all now know, man, you really do just have to get in, and then we'll just kind of see what happens. I mean, this last playoffs was a great example, but I think the best example of this is the amount of new teams that we're going to get every year into the playoffs. And now the Lions are into that mix. Like, what do they say? I don't know if it's true or not. I have not fact-checked this, but I believe it's 7. Somewhere around that range, 7 new teams every single season into the playoffs. So that tells you all you need to know. You just got to get back into the playoffs. And I don't know what the last time is the Lions went back-to-back years in the playoffs. I got to assume they did it once when Wayne Fontes was there. But I don't know if they did. I mean, we saw that thing, Dan Campbell, second most playoff wins in Lions history, like in a Super Bowl era. Like, what? So hold up. Let me actually check. Let me check. Because this could be history this year. I don't know. I'm going to double check real quick before we start to get into this. Lions. Okay, so the little thing means playoffs. So Lions went to the playoffs this last year. Now, they had back-to-back winning seasons. I don't know when's the last time they did that either. We can see here. It's been a long time. That alone was already kind of historic. Like, yo, back-to-back winning season. We were nearly in the playoffs. Second, and then a first-place finish. But if we so we made it in 2016, made it in 2011, and then before that, it was back to 1999. Okay, so 95 and 94 was the last time the Lions went to the playoff in back-to-back seasons. 99 and 2000, they had winning records. If you count 8-8 as a winning record, back-to-back season was a winning record. So that was the last time the Lions went back-to-back, was 94 and 95. Before that, it would have been 82 and 83. 82, they only had 4 wins. I guess that was that the shortened season? Was that like the lockout year or whatever it was? I don't remember. I don't know what that. I mean, obviously I wasn't alive. Was that year? So okay, we've had twice in the Super Bowl era that the Lions made playoffs in back-to-back seasons. So we can make it a third time. All right, we can make it a third time. 8-8's winning record. Who says? Hey, I count 8-8 as winning record. That's a winning record in my book. Lions, you did it. Okay, 8-8. That's a winning record. All right, 99 to 2000. So I count that, bro. That's crazy though, because when I say 2000, it doesn't sound that long ago, or like when I think of these years, early 2000s. But man, it's already been 20 plus years now. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. Who's ready for Super Bowl win, boys? Man, I'm fired up. I'm excited because you know what I'm most excited for? Before we get into that, I'm most excited to just react to preseason games. Like watching preseason games live. That's what I'm excited for. I love that, man. And it's like, yo, we're already here. I love reacting to preseason games live. Dude, there's nothing like it. Because if they lose, you're not that sad. You know, it's like, I would have liked to win. But you're not sad if they lose. And you're not really like overly hype if they win. So it's calm. But it's more just like, yo, I want to see this player play. And this year, Hendon Hooker, I just threw my pen, dog. I'm fired up, man. Yo, I'm pumped to see the preseason this year, dude. I'm so excited to see the preseason. I mean, it kind of stinks that we don't have Teddy Bridgewater because Bridgewater was awesome last year in the preseason. Bridgewater did his thing, all right? When Bridgewater got here, he was like, yo, this dude's different than what we've had. But now to see Hendon Hooker, oh, my goodness. Okay, I got to get back to the comments here. Then we'll get this thing rolling. Jeff Berg, Lions time, let's go. Shane Smith says, hells yeah, I see you. Dave says, what's happening, Dan? Not much, man. Just getting ready for training camp. Just getting ready for all of it to happen. Now there will be certain days this year that I'm just not there. One, because I'll have other things that I'll have to do, unfortunately, but we'll react to the notes. So I won't have like firsthand notes. Secondly, I may just not have tickets. So there's that aspect. But for the most part, we're going to be here reacting to it. I may do it a little bit different this year. We absolutely could have pre-recorded videos. We also may have, but I assume this year is going to be a lot more live streaming. We may have live streams from practice that we kind of we did that once, I think last year, maybe a couple times, but I know we did it one time. We may have that right after practice, just go live. And we also may have a lot of kind of like I mentioned of what Wednesday could look like, which is live stream at night. And that's how we react to kind of what we heard. So it may not be immediate, but I assume we may have less like pre-recorded training camp breakdowns. We may have a few of those. Usually I feel like production-wise, those come out with the best news. Like I have the best kind of breakdowns of things, but it just may not get to that just because timing-wise, it actually takes me a lot longer to do a pre-recorded video than the live stream. 93, 95 made the playoffs. Oh, so we made the playoffs 3 straight years. Okay, did I miss that? 90. Oh, I did miss that because they had it. Okay, so 3 straight. Okay, so now we got something to reach for there. Okay, it cut off. That's why I missed that. All right. I wish people would stop saying Super Bowl. Like, don't jinx us, please. Don't forget what happened to the Eagles last year. That's it, right? Just get in the playoffs. That's the goal for me. Let's get in the playoffs. Let's have some fun with it. I don't care how we get in. Just get in the playoffs. Once we do that, I'm excited. That's the goal for me. Let's just find a way in because most teams struggle to do that back-to-back years. Okay. I mean, win the division twice is something, right? The NFC East, that never happens. I think I heard today it's 21 years since the teams won the NFC East back-to-back seasons. I know we're not the NFC East, but right now it feels like there's a lot of parity that could happen in the NFC North because there's just a lot of good teams. I'm from the 80s. Oh, you from the 80s? Okay. What's up, peeps? Ranting Q is back. Oh, David, you Ranting Q? I'm hoping number 62 for Michigan should start this season. Go Blue, my nephew. What is your nephew's name? What's your nephew's name? I'm going to keep an eye out for him this year. Okay. I think we're good. Tyson's in the building. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's get this thing started. So I want to start off. We're going to hit the news first. Then I think we'll get into rookie roles. Then we'll get into 2 impact players But honestly, it goes a little bit bigger than that. Now, I'm saving a couple of like training camp specific topics for tomorrow. I want to do another morning show tomorrow, and I have some fun ones. I got some really fun ones. Specifically one I'm looking at right now, which is like the most hype players during training camp. So we're gonna save those for tomorrow. I don't want to dive into too much of that today, but that's what we're gonna do. We got rookie roles, which in the past that did really well. I don't know if we did it last year, but I know in the past I did a rookie roles video and people loved it. I don't know why, but we'll do that here on the live stream. And then, like I said, we're going to hit this roster news. And then the impact player, we're going to look at two more players that we've already talked about, but I'm going to expand and just kind of showcase some plays and how guys could fit into this defense. Because I know in our last show last week, I kind of watched it back, just listened to it back while I was actually mowing. I was like, I'm just going to listen to this, see how it is, this podcast. It actually sounds pretty good. But in that episode, we talked about like schemes. We talked about things like that up front. And I think we can kind of shed some more light on that in today's video. So we'll do all that, and then we'll dive into the AFC North stuff at the end. We'll make our division predictions, and we will take a look at the entire AFC division predictions because I have a graphic, nothing fancy, but it does show who I picked to win each division. So we'll do that to wrap things up. And then, of course, we'll react to the comments as long as this thing doesn't go extremely long. But to be honest with you, man, I mean, I bet, hey, we've been rolling here now already 10 minutes, so I got to get this thing started. Let's start with the Lions news first. Let's go. We're going to start here. This is the big news. This is the Detroit Lions posted this, and I'll share that on the screen. Hopefully this fits in here. I may have to get this stuff off the screen to make this fit, but honestly, I think it'll be fine. I think this will fit. Yeah, that fits. Okay, so here you go. Lions announced roster moves. Lions have placed DB Brian Branch, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader on the active PUP list, and then we also have Giovanni Manu, who is on the active NFI list. So let's break down what we're looking at here. So first off, and let me make sure I get my right page up here. First off, I don't think anybody's super surprised with this. Honestly, don't overreact to any of these. Even if these are like a lot of new names, which I guess Giovanni Manu is, don't overreact to these too much. Like, this is the beginning of everything. There's so much time. I don't take any of this as like a huge deal necessarily. And plus, the first three, I guess, were kind of expected. Outside of Marcus Davenport, I don't know that Marcus Davenport was expected, but I have heard that, you know, most of these guys kind of missed time back in spring practices, so that's why it was expected. But yeah, the only one there that's a little bit concerning, I would say, in terms of, hey, the injury that they have, maybe this thing is going a little bit longer than expected. That could be Marcus Davenport. He had the ankle sprain. He basically missed all last season with the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, he played a couple games beginning of the year. He kind of played like, what was it, 4 games? I think he kind of played like 4 games, 3 or 4 games. He played Kansas City, played Carolina, kind of played in the 3rd game. So maybe been just like 2.5. And then he was done. But he's on this list. And then Brian Branch was spotted in a boot, also on a scooter back during the draft time. And Brian Branch, let me make sure I get my notes right here. Notes right here. Is Brian Branch also dealing with the high ankle sprain? Let me see. No, it's he's in the boot due to the foot injury. So he's that. Marcus Davenport's a high ankle sprain. And then DJ Reader on the PUP list. He had the torn quad to end last season with the Cincinnati Bengals. And Dan Campbell's already kind of laid it out there, going back a little bit, that he is expected to miss some time, and he may not be ready for the first day of camp. But that was something that was told a while ago. Now, first day of camp, I don't know exactly what we're counting that as. First day that fans can be there is going to be Saturday morning, but that's loyal members only. However, Wednesday is when they're expected to have basically the full roster for practice, and Tuesday is when veterans report. Rookies have already reported to camp. So don't know if he's saying that's Wednesday. If that's the case, I mean, look, just expect Dan Campbell's going to give us updates throughout. I don't think there's much we could take of this in terms of, well, we see it. How long are they going to miss? I don't really know. I don't know. Dan Campbell will give the best look into that when he starts to speak to the media, and then we'll get a good sense of how long these guys are actually going to be out. But outside of that, all we know right now is that they're listed here. Now, the positive is this, as we know, being on the active PUP list, these guys can be taken off this list at any time. However, the key here is that Tuesday is when you can't put players on this list any longer. They still count towards the 90-man roster, but you can no longer place guys on this list. So you're going to expect teams to place all of the players that they expect to be on this list right now. There should be on there very soon anybody that's going to pop before Tuesday. Outside of that, it's going to be something that happens probably during training camp. Now, Giovanni Manu being placed on the active NFI list, what we know about that is that's non-football illness or it's non-football injury related. And he is a surprise one because he wasn't someone that was really noted, I guess, during the spring practices. However, the key to him being on this list is that being on the active NFI list again, it's not football injury related. So this is something that also could be something from say college, and they're just like, hey, he had this injury in college, now he gets placed on this list. Kind of same rules apply here for this, but the key that I would be keeping an eye on here, and obviously you don't want guys just injured, so that's why they're missing time, but is that if this player remains on this list and you get into the regular season, the Lions could have him miss the first 4 games of the season being on the active NFI list. So that's just something to kind of keep an eye out because he would then not count towards the 53-man roster at that point. And I do think that's something that could be very valuable potentially. Not saying you want to miss time, but I don't think Manu, the goal is to see him in the first 4 games anyway. It could potentially open up a roster spot for someone else on the offensive line to make the roster. So it's just something I keep an eye on from a roster perspective. Numbers wise, it actually in a way could be beneficial for the Lions. But yeah, I mean, we can dive in more. I definitely put a lot of notes here. Here's the way that I'm looking at it. And chat, I'm going to take a look at what you guys are saying before we kind of get into this. Davenport lives on the pup list. Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully not. That's just where it's at. I don't know. Like I said, green. That's fine. Okay, here we're back. But anyways, I don't remember what I was saying, actually. Okay, but yeah, no. So going to these injuries that we have, as I said, most of them were expected here. These guys that are popping up here, we'll know more when Dan Campbell kind of breaks it down. But yeah, I think Davenport's going to have a huge season, but we expect DJ Reader's probably going to miss some time at some point. If at most, it'll probably be during the beginning of the season. I would say that's the time to expect him to miss time. Lions will have guys that can step in. They have guys that can fill in those roles. So that's okay. I don't know on Davenport. I just really have no idea. He'll probably be on and off, probably miss some time. Even if he is relatively healthy, at best, looking at the history of Marcus Davenport, probably going to play 13 games, right? 12, 13 at best. That's just kind of what it's been for him historically. So that's sort of expected. And then Brian Branch, honestly, that would be the biggest concern for me because we don't really know what that's going to look like until Dan Campbell speaks on it. Positive is we have a lot of answers. We have a lot of guys that can step into roles there. But Brian Branch is such a huge part of this defense. We'll talk about him a little bit more later. So what does this mean? Here's the positive flip on it. And yeah, it froze for a second. StreamYard, for whatever reason, last couple of shows we've done, and like 15 minutes in, it just does that. I don't know why, but then it comes back. So, we'll figure that out. However, so we start here with Brian Branch. So what's the positive take on this, the positive flip? Well, in training camp, especially with the veterans, it's the opportunity, I think, a lot of these guys to see what the young guys look like. And you're okay with that. Like DJ Reader, if he doesn't play in the training camp, would I be concerned? Not really. I'd be concerned about his health, but I don't really need to see what he looks like in training camp. One, a lot of times it's very hard to kind of judge where offensive line and defense linemen are even at during this point. So it's very difficult during training camp to really see that unless you're just looking at one-on-ones. So for me, I don't really need to see what DJ Reader looks like. I'm cool with it. I know what DJ Reader is on the field. I'll look at the history of what he is. I just need to know that he's on the field. So I'm not going to gain, I don't think, a ton from training camp this year of what DJ Reader looks like. I feel like I can gain a lot more seeing what guys like Levi look like in training camp when they go pads, when we see him in team drills. What does Levi look like? Where does Mekhi Wingo fit into all of this? Kyle Pecco, like we'll have answers. Like if Levi looks good, this could actually be a really good opportunity, especially if DJ Reader does miss the first couple games. Hopefully that's not the case. But if he did, for whatever reason, we're kind of getting way out there on this one. But if that was the case, that'd be an opportunity for Levi to crack into the rotation, get himself some snaps early in the year, and kind of prove himself right away. That's a good opportunity for Levi. Plus, I kind of want to see where he's at with some of that body transformation. Maybe it's an opportunity for Mekhi Wingo. I don't really think we'll see much Mekhi Wingo, but we'll get to the rookie roles here in a little bit after this segment. I just don't think we'll see a ton of him this season anyway, unless injuries, of course, pop up. But that's the exciting part, is this is more so to kind of, for me, see the guys that are maybe new. But even though DJ Reader and Marcus Davenport are new, I know what they are on the field. I just know it's about them being on the field. It's just that simple. There's nothing that I don't think Marcus Davenport, to me, is going to make or break what I think he can be this season in training camp. It's just going to be about, is he on the field? Because if he can get out there on the field based on what he's seen historically, I have a pretty good sense of what he's going to look like. The only thing that would surprise me about Davenport, or the thing that I'd be looking for, is where in those certain areas has he developed with a new defensive line coach, and what kind of role is he playing? What are they asking of him? Are they asking him to drop into coverage a little bit more than I expected? Is he playing more as a stand-up rusher, even though I like his hand in the dirt a little bit more? Which side of a defensive end is he aligning on if his hand is in the dirt? Are they asking him to flip sides? Like, what role are they asking of him? That's really the only thing there for Marcus Davenport outside of being healthy. Again, Reader, I know what to expect. And then Brian Branch, we saw last year. He is young, though, so you want to see growth there, but he was awesome. It's kind of about the position flexibility. Then, of course, Giovanni Manu. I don't think we're going to see much of him this season anyway, even if he is healthy. So we'll just have to see where he's at. But for me, that's what I'm looking at. This is opportunity. If Brian Branch is not there, first off, I look at it like this: safety opportunity. I want to see where the backup safeties are. I want to see what depth that safety looks like for the Lions. So if Brian Branch is not taking snaps there, in a lot of ways, it's kind of exciting because we're going to see, not only Ife Melifonwu, and we know Kirby Joseph, we want to see where those guys are at, but it's the depth. It's CJ Moore. It's Brandon Joseph coming back now. And then you get beyond that, and you have, safeties that we picked up as UDFAs. That's really been our only investment there. We got guys that we like, right? We got Garnes out of Wake Forest. I really like Garnes. I think he can make this team. Lauren Strickland as well, you have in that mix out of Ball State, I believe. And that's really what I'm looking at for there. Where does the depth kind of come into play? So we'll continue with the rest of them, but I want to see what y'all are saying in the chat. Blue screen of death. Yes, that's it. That's exactly what it looks like. Actually, for me, it turns into a black screen. So shout out to StreamYard. It just turns black on me. So I can't really see anything. I don't know what's going on. Ken says, okay, that's back to, I think, when we cut out. Oh, snap. It's dose. Okay, I got to let me take a second to read this one. Oh, snap. It's the dose of the most. What up, man? Hey, how you doing, man? Lions just getting started. So hyped for my Lions. Okay, I got you. I'm hyped too, man. All good. Dose got this. Okay, yeah, we good now. The Brian Branch surgery. Do you have any details? I don't really have any details, to be honest. Nothing beyond what you guys would have seen. I have really nothing there going back for a while. So I'm just kind of relying on Dan Campbell to give us some answers there. I know that he will. I know that last season, right, we had times where he was banged up and then he would just kind of came back on the field. It's like, wow, maybe he shouldn't be out there, but he was tough last season. He played through a lot for us. So I don't really have any details on that outside of if you looked at like what injury could it be and then how long is it going to take. I don't know. I will say the thing with DJ Reader is, and some will keep it out because based on when he had his injury, he had a torn quad. If it was a fully torn quad, based on when he started to kind of rehab that thing, 4 to 6 months is what they tell you. It's pushing on about 8 now, going back to December when he had the injury. So we'll kind of have to see where he's at with that one. I would assume he's not far off though, because again, even if we just take what Dan Campbell said, which is what he said at the initially, which is he may miss the beginning of camp, that's right around the corner. So I'm cool with him missing beginning of camp. That's not beginning of the year. I don't think right now at this point I'm concerned that he's going to miss the beginning of the start of the season. We'd have answers if he does. I'm not really concerned about that. I'm most concerned about the Marcus Davenport one, just because we don't really have a timetable and we don't really know what this is going to look like. It's not like he had just like a, okay, boom, he tore this, boom, he's coming back. It's an ankle sprain that had him out in and out all last season, and he missed the majority of the year from Minnesota. So that would be the biggest one, just because of where that length is going to be at for him and how much time he's actually missed. All right, moving on to Davenport, though. What does that mean? Well, I'll say this. Matthew Betts, he's the guy that we all want to see, I think, during training camp. He's one of my most, excited players to see, most excited to watch. We'll talk about this more tomorrow, but I want to see where Matthew Betts is at. I want to see what role Matthew Betts is playing. We did a Matthew Betts breakdown, so I'm not going to redo that here, but I'm excited to see where Matthew Betts is at. So that's an opportunity for him to step into that role. I think Betts could also bring certain similar things to the table at Marcus Davenport. Position flexibility, he can stand up, he can drop into coverage. I think there's a lot of similarities between the two and what they can actually add to the Lions. They may play different roles, but I think they can add similar things. I really like him as an interior rusher, which, as we saw with Minnesota, they love to use him there on pass down, stand him up, put him over a center. So for me, Matthew Betts is like the perfect guy to circle there in terms of he's the guy that I want to see get snaps. I want to see what Matthew Betts looks like on an NFL team, right? Not in the Canadian Football League. I want to see what he looks like on an NFL team. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to look like for the Lions. Then we have guys like, again, Mekhi Wingo. I don't think he's going to play the same role as Davenport, but he does offer some flexibility. So, we'll have to see kind of where that plays out. I think he's going to play defensive end. And then you have the UDFAs. And we have a lot of exciting UDFAs. Haven't maybe given them a ton of attention, but you have Ukwu. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he's the guy that got drafted. He got drafted in the UFL draft. There's a lot of acronyms going on here. He got drafted in the UFL draft out of Ole Miss. And then you also have guys like Nate Lynn out of William & Mary, who I was super excited about. He's got kind of a weird body type, but that guy can get after the quarterback. So you have guys like Nate Lynn. And then, of course, we have James Houston. And then also Mitchell Agood, who has been in the NFL a little bit, teams with Miami. Now, I will also point this out. The flip side positive of all of this is there's not, at least right now, a guy like Enos Rakestraw, he's not listed on here. So that's a big positive because I know spring, I think he was a little bit in and out during the spring practices, but he's not listed here. So a guy like that, we're going to see him. And I'm pretty excited about that, at least of right now. So we'll keep an eye out if something else pops up before Tuesday, but that's the positive. A guy like that is not actually listed here. And then DJ Reader. So again, what are the Lions' options without DJ? This is the opportunity for Levi with some of the body changing to kind of see what he looks like. Broderick Martin, he's one of the guys we talked about in our last show, taking those steps this season, hopefully learning a lot from DJ Reader this upcoming year. And then again, you have guys like Kyle Pecco, veteran. If you need him, he could play nose tackle for you. And Kyle Pecco had some really good stretches, has familiarity with our defensive line coach. So Kyle Pecco will be another guy to circle within that mix. But that's actually a position where you have a lot of kind of unknowns beyond DJ Reader, and it's like who's going to kind of win that position outside of Kyle Pecco, you kind of know. But I would even say with Kyle, like there were games where he looked awesome and there were games where he did not look awesome. So even him, it felt like there was a lot of inconsistencies, even though he's a veteran, to kind of see where he kind of plays at for the Lions this season. So again, I'm just taking this as an opportunity to see guys that we're really looking forward to. DJ Reader's making the roster. It's just, is he healthy? Marcus Davenport, to me, is making the roster. Is he healthy? Brian Branch is making the roster. So, and Giovanni Manu, to me, making the roster. It's just kind of where is he at health-wise there. The other guys that are fighting for spots, it's an opportunity for them to step into roles. Now, the other thing that I want to touch on before we kind of move off this topic, and I'm going to look at the chat here, see what you guys were saying about this, but this is not really Lions news, but it could kind of become Lions news, if that makes sense. I'm going to throw this graphic on the screen just go so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right here. Now, this is a good player. We talked about him a couple times on this show, but Kenny Clark got his 3-year, $64 million extension with the Green Bay Packers. So that, I just bring this up because I think last time we talked about, paying guys and how much certain guys could get paid, we talked about Lee McNeil, and I said roughly somewhere in like the $18 to $21 million per year range. That kind of is exactly what Kenny Clark fell into here. Now, Kenny Clark's a little bit older. I could definitely see Lee McNeil making more than that, but maybe that gives you kind of an idea of where an Lee McNeil extension could go, especially if he plays better than he did last season. If he improves on what he did last season and he plays a majority of the season, he's going to be in line for a really nice deal. I think it could get above that per year number for Kenny Clark. I think it could push above $21 million per year, but I think somewhere in that range makes a ton of sense. So, just kind of projecting where Lee McNeil could fall in. I think somewhere in that range for Lee McNeil. We'll see what deal lines are able to get him on, but that's where I'm at. Dan, was you able to get any training camp tickets? Sort of. I mean, I have a few, but for the most part, man, that thing was a mess. When I got on there, there was a point that I was on there because that was the day I had to go get. When they released them was the day that I was in the hospital, so it was kind of a mess for me to try to get training camp tickets because I had to go through like all this pre-stuff for my surgery. But at one point, I was in line there, and it was like, yo, you're like 9,336 in line. And I was like, how is that even possible? I know there is not 9,000 tickets available for this. They're not going to put 9,000 people in here. I don't even know what to do with that. So a few, but like nothing like I can like give away tickets, unfortunately. Nothing like that. Davenport should have 2 jobs. One to set the edge, to get the 2 quarterback, get him on the ground. Hey, keep it simple, man. Keep it simple. I like the end of the season. You will see more Wingo, less Pascal, Kaminsky. You think at the end of the season? I think definitely. Well, I hope not with Pascal. I would hope not with Pascal. I definitely want to see Pascal. I want Pascal, as long as he's healthy, I want Pascal on the field a ton. Definitely do agree with you in a sense, though, with Kaminsky. I don't know at the end of the season. I mean, if Kaminsky's healthy, depending on where they're at, if Kaminsky's a better player, I want Kaminsky on the field. If we were a team that I didn't expect to be in, the race for playoff spot positioning and things like that, I'd be like, if this was year one, I'd absolutely agree. And we see that a lot of times, there's stats to back up that during closer to the end of the season, young guys usually take snaps from veterans. But for the Lions, if John Kaminsky's the better player than McCoy, we can go keep John Kaminsky on the field. Let's get the best player on the field. We're trying to go win a Super Bowl this season. That being said, though, I do think, and we're about to get to these rookie roles next, that's the future for Mekhi Wingo, is kind of that replacement. He's the kind of mix with Josh Pascal going forward. I think that's the role that he's going to play with the Lions long term. I think there's other things he could add, but I think that's where he kind of fits in with this Lions defense going forward long term there. Starters at every position are very solid. Let's keep seeing. Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it, right? Like I feel really good about a lot of these positions outside of really cornerback, because we kind of don't know outside of Carlton Davis what they're going to bring to the table. So that's the only one. I mean, we put investments there, but we still kind of don't really know what we have in a lot of spots outside of Carlton Davis and Brian Branch. But the investments were definitely there. Preseason is going to be awesome. fired up for preseason. Really hoping Houston returns strong and fast. Me too. Me too. I feel like Houston gets super overlooked. Man, that dude can absolutely play. I even think we saw last year in a little bit that we saw him, and I think we also have an idea of where he can fit in. He just has to battle with guys like now Derek Barnes, arguably maybe Matthew Betts in similar ways as well. We're going to get to more like direct battles tomorrow. That's kind of the goal. But he has a lot of competition at this point. Lee making 24-25 definitely could be more than Kenny Clark. It could be. Now, Kenny Clark's been awesome, but the age thing there, by the time he gets it, if he doesn't get it this season, we wait till more to the end of the year, that number is probably going to push higher because of the cap numbers. So I could absolutely see him falling somewhere there. That's probably the top end. You can never have enough D-line depth. You can't wait to see the wide receiver 3 battle. Yeah, that's going to be huge too. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Antoine Green, that kind of thing. All right, with that, and we'll get to more of kind of like the under the radar guys tomorrow because there's definitely guys that I'm excited to see. Pascal is my new superhero. Wait, what? Okay, I see you. Hey, Ranty Q, did you just change your name? Why did you look? Are you on a different account? I don't know. Okay, so I want to start with the news. Kind of knock that out. Now let's move on, and we'll learn more when Dan Campbell speaks on this. Now let's move on to the next thing that I'm pretty excited about. And this is talking, hey, we about hit 30 minutes right on the dot there. That was pretty good. I wasn't even looking at the time. We about nailed that thing. We've gotten pretty good with these segments. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to have to screen share this, so give me 1 second. And we're going to go into rookie roles. And if you don't know what this is, we did this. I don't think we did this last year. I don't even know if we did it the year before. This may have been on the old channel. I don't know. All right, it's been a while since we've done this. But basically, this is only draft picks and I project what their role is going to be in year 1. Now, we could talk long-term because a lot of these are about what is it going to look like long-term. But what are they going to look like in year 1? What is their role going to be this season? So that's what we're going to talk about here. And I'm going to start off at the top. Now, this first graphic I'm going to show you has nothing to do with anything. I don't even know what this is. I'm just putting it on the screen right now. That way it doesn't show what I wanted to show, before we get it. Oh, this is old. This is super old. Okay. I'm not trying to download. Let me present. Okay. Oh, they got a recorder. What? Autoplay. Okay, I'm just going to control it. All right, here we go. Ready? Let's do this. Let's start off at the top. Let's get into this next segment. Let's talk through a little bit. Let me also get this stuff off the screen because now I'm realizing you can't see nothing. The stuff on the top is simply just statistics from their last college football season or maybe beyond that. These were actually utilized. I think I used these on Bleacher Report after the draft when we had to grade each draft pick. I don't have the grades on here. I took those off. But if you were wondering, I don't know if we actually did that over here. I guess we could always redo it, but I did do grading Lions draft picks on Bleacher Report. So if that's something that you're interested in and you're like, yo, I want that now, that's over there right now. It should still be up on the events tab under my account. So you should be able to still see that where I graded each guy. I took that off though, because I don't want to spoil that in case we do it again, or in case you just haven't seen that and you want to go check it out. So let's do this though. We'll start off with Terran Arnold, my projected role for year 1. And obviously Terran Arnold, I'm projecting the biggest role here. And as you can see with the numbers on the top, they look good. But, and this is kind of like there's certain things that I popped in here a little bit. Okay, but worry about the bottom. I think he's our starter as our outside cornerback year 1. I think he starts. I don't think he's our number 1 corner. I think eventually he could work his way into that role throughout the season because, again, this is mainly focused on what does it look like year 1. I think eventually he could work himself into the role of he becomes your number 1. Maybe that's because you have a guy, unfortunately, hopefully this isn't the case, but Carlton missed some time and he kind of has to step into that role. Or maybe because he plays at such a level that he takes over that role and he becomes the guy that is taking the best assignment on the field. This could be something. I think starting off the year, Carlton is going to get the best assignments. I think that's how it's going to look. As the year goes on, it could turn into one's the right cornerback, one's the left cornerback, and it just kind of stays simple like that. And we kind of saw that towards the end a little bit with Tampa Bay with Carlton Davis. At times, you take the best matchup. If you haven't seen the Carlton Davis breakdown, definitely go check that out. I did that from a remote location. Does that make sense? Remote location? I don't even know if that makes any sense. I did that from a different location, but that's what I'm expecting. Now, I even threw some numbers in here. It's a lot different with corner. I didn't want to be like, I think this is how many combined tackles is going to have. That's going to be boring. But here's what I'm expecting. I expect he's going to allow a sub 60% completion percentage. Now, that's not crazy, like in comparison to, I think last season Sauce Gardner was at like 40-some%. So that's not a crazy ask, but it is sub 60%, which is on the lower side. And I think if you look at what the Lions have done historically with Aaron Glenn in terms of man coverage rates, they actually do a pretty nice job at allowing a lower completion percentage. Where they've had to improve over time is getting into spots where they're allowing less yards per game. but completion percentage, I think will fit right in when the Lions have played man heavy. They've done a pretty nice job of actually allowing lower completion percentage, and I think he'll be able to do that year one for the Lions. Also, 3 interceptions at least. I started with 2. I bumped it up to 3. I think he's going to be out there enough to get his hands on an interception that maybe gets tipped into the air, something like that. And I'm going to go at least 3 this season for Terrion Arnold. And I think he'll also allow a couple big plays. All right, that's not bold, but I just think it's going to happen. He's young. He's going to be on the field, especially as the season goes on. Hey, he'll get matched up at times if the Lions are playing right cornerback, left cornerback, that kind of thing. And he'll get a tough matchup week 1. Maybe he gets matched up with Puka Nacua at times. He gives up a big play. That's understandable. I expect that to happen. That's just how it's going to go. The best cornerbacks do that, unless you're a guy like Sauce Gardner who really doesn't do that. But I expect it to happen, but I'm also going with 3 interceptions here. My man Ed with the 1-9. Hey, I appreciate you, Ed. What do you do if Mosley plays good? So that's a good question. So I think I list him in the next one. But Emmanuel Mosley, to me, is another one of those guys, someone I'm really hyped up for to watch at training camp. He'll be on a list tomorrow. We'll talk about him more tomorrow. But I do think Mosley is one of those guys that gets forgotten, especially at wide cornerback, in terms of how he fits into all of this. I think Terrion Arnold is still going to be above Emmanuel Mosley, but the next cornerback we're going to talk about is going to have to battle Emmanuel Mosley. Not for a roster spot, but for playing time, because I think Mosley will make this team as long as he's healthy. I think Mosley right now is more in line with like, hey, I got to fight for my roster spot, because even though, one of the years I was signed initially, it was like, hey, this guy's going to be the starter. And it was just like, when can we get him back on the field? And unfortunately, we see that. I now think he's kind of more into the category of now he's battling for a roster spot more so than anything. But I do think that he can quickly work his way up and play really well as long as he is healthy, because that's just what he's been. I don't know what he's going to look like coming off injury, but that's what he's been in the NFL. Recently, he was a really good cornerback with San Francisco. It's just been a while since we've seen it. But I don't think this is really going to impact Terrion Arnold. I think also going to be a starting corner for the Lions from day one. The only real battle here maybe is Amik Robertson to start. Could also Enos Rakestraw push him potentially, but the projection is I think he's going to start. I think he'll typically get the number 2 assignment, which will help him. And also, I think he's got a good supporting cast. I know that sounds crazy. I think a lot of times, maybe the thought is like, the supporting cast is going to hurt him. I don't think that's the case. I think he's got a good pass rush in front of him, especially if Davenport is healthy. He's got a really good interior, especially if DJ Reader is out there. And I really like the supporting cast. I think we know what we have in Kirby Joseph and Ife Melifonwu. I really like the fact that he can kind of play alongside of Carlton Davis, but not have to take on the top matchup early and work his way into that. And Brian Branch, especially when he's in that slot role, one of the best in football. I think he's actually got a really good supporting cast. And I think schematically speaking, it's going to play really well into his skill set. Press corner, heavy man coverage corner, and you have a guy in Aaron Glenn who does a really nice job, and he's done a nice job in man coverage to, we haven't always played man heavy, but we kind of have been since year 1, but he's got a mix between more zone, more man, that kind of thing. But I think he's done a really nice job when playing heavy man coverage to give his cornerbacks help, right? Especially in the slot, but like, okay, hey, play to the safety up here, play to the sideline here. He's done a nice job of giving help and also bring a lot of heat to the point where hopefully these guys don't have to stand in coverage a ton. But I saved that last note because I think with Terrion Arnold, it's going to be kind of what I've thought was the issue, which is, and also, hey, and I'm about to play a clip for you. I appreciate you. But also, what I think has been the case over the last couple of years, instead of it being an issue of the Lions' ability to get pressure, I thought it's been an issue in the back end. And I think he's actually going to showcase that. And we're going to see that good supporting cast because the cornerbacks will play better, will have better cornerback play, and that will ultimately help us see what the front is actually capable of. So that's where I wanted to start. Of course, Terrion Arnold, I think he's going to be in for a big season for the Lions year 1. And then this is for you, my man Ed.
You're tripping.
Hey, you're not tripping. I appreciate you. But we hopefully could get Rand on here. Hey, I've been in talks. You know what I mean? I'm hoping. That's the hope. But anyways, that's the first one. All right. Now, after this, it kind of becomes very difficult to predict. I'm going to be honest. This is super difficult after this one. So throw your projections in there for where you think these rookies are going to fall in. What do you think their role is going to be year 1? Because I'll be honest, this was very tough to predict. But the second pick the Lions made in this year's draft, in the back of the second round, was Enos Rakestraw Jr., the cornerback out of Missouri, who could play inside and outside, the second round pick. You see the stats on the screen. What is his role going to be year 1? Well, let me make this clear. Do that again, please. Please. Do that again, please. You tripping. Okay, I got you. I'll do it one more time. Let's do it real quick. Just because it's...
You're tripping.
All right. So, hey, look, man, Enos Rakestraw is a tough one because year one is going to be difficult. And the thing was with Rakestraw, we also had to make this clear. It's not like this is going to get easier for him to find a role on this team. Like Amik Robertson, he's here for 2 years. And if Amik continues to trend up like he did with the Vegas Raiders, where he was coming off his best season with a good pass rush, right? Malcolm Coons could get after a little bit. Obviously, Max Crosby is awesome. They had some pass rush there. But the rest of the secondary play was not great. If he continues to trend up, he's going to be very tough to take snaps from. He's already told you, hey, I'm a starter, right? I'm not a depth piece. I'm going to start here. He's already let the world know it. That's what he intends to do. So for Rakestraw, it's going to be very difficult anywhere to crack this because now you got Carlton. Now you got obviously the guy we just talked about, Terran Arnold. You got Brian Branch. And now you got Amik Robertson for 2 years that you have to deal with. So what is his role year one? I think year one, he's a big special teams piece. I love him as a gunner. I don't know as much as a jammer, which is the guys that line up across from the gunners. So the gunner would be on the punt team. The jammers would be on the punt return team. The gunners would be on the punt team, the team that kicks it away. So for me, I think that's where he can help us on special teams. I think he'll be a nice special teams piece. I think he can play on kickoff team as well. He's going to battle Meek, specifically for the backup nickel role, especially when we don't have Brian Branch out there early in training camp. I think he's going to have to battle. He's going to have to kind of find a way to pry into, because this goes back to what we talked about in the last show. What are the best five in the back of the Lions feel like is on the field? What is the best five they can put on the field? And if they feel like Brian Branch on early downs, or maybe more so heavy packages, is best at safety, but if they feel like he's best there when they have three receivers on the field, now all of a sudden you have a guy like Rakestraw who's going to have to really battle to try to pry that position and find a way to get himself onto the field. So he's got that to deal with. And then wide corner, that's where Mosley starts to get himself into play here, is now you have to battle away from Emmanuel Mosley. I think naturally you'll kind of be above him immediately, but he's going to have to take that position. So I kind of list that here next. What do I expect year one? This is where it gets tricky. If you look at the historic, like let's say we look at last season, how did late second round cornerbacks perform? You got a mix here. You got guys like Tyreek Stevenson with Chicago who played a ton out of Miami, but where their cornerback position is, they didn't have a ton of like, okay, I expect that guy to start. And they also didn't, I don't think they drafted a first round corner, so he kind of was able to play himself into a role pretty immediately there. I view him as potentially, hopefully more than what Cam Smith did, which Cam Smith did not play much last season whatsoever with the Miami Dolphins, but they had guys like Jalen Ramsey above him. They had guys that were kind of above him snaps wise, and Cam Smith played 15 coverage snaps this past season. And then you have guys like Garrett Williams who played 230 snaps for the Arizona Cardinals. You have players like that out of Syracuse. You have Jartavius Martin, who was another second round pick who played 230 snaps defensively. I think for him, he's going to play somewhere into that role of 100 to 200 coverage snaps for the Lions. I think 200 is probably going to be a little bit on the high end year one, but that's outside of injuries, because obviously if injuries start to pile on, everything is going to become all up in the air. Just whoever's healthy is going to play. But I think realistically, 100 to 200 coverage snap is where I'm kind of expecting him to kind of fall in here. I think he's going to have a few coverage flags for the Lions, especially when he's on the field. You're going to see a few of those because he is physical. And even though we may not have seen him a ton in college, I think just his play style, and if you haven't seen the Enos Rakestraw video, definitely go check that one out. But I think that what we know is that he's going to get called for a few flags. They're going to give him a few of those early. The flip side, though, is he's going to be a very good run defender early. It's going to be very noticeable. He's also going to be a guy that can get after the quarterback, especially if he's in the slot and rush the quarterback. And I think he's also going to get at least one TFL. That is like the worst statistic I could have put on here. It's like, hey, he's going to get a tackle for loss. I just think that he will. He's going to be blitzed. He's going to be utilized to get after the quarterback. He's going to get at least one TFL. I don't know if I see an interception. Maybe something gets tipped into the air and he finds a way to pick one off. I think more so forced incompletions is where he's going to have his impact, some of the advanced stats, more so than the interceptions. That's kind of where I'm at with this right now, just because I don't think maybe he'll have the snaps to do it. Hopefully he does, though. Hopefully that's something that he can add to his game. I just think right now, we've seen better ball skills out of Terran Arnold than we have with Enos Rakestraw Jr. So that's my projecting for year one, Enos Rakestraw. Now, without saying too much, if you have not seen it, I think that Enos Rakestraw long-term is going to be awesome. I think he's going to be awesome for the Lions. This is the guy that I am betting on for the Lions long-term. He is going to do his thing. And I really wanted to come on here and be like, he's going to shock us. He's going to take Carlton's role, or he's going to take Arnold's role, or he's going to take Amik's role. Like, he's going to just jump his way in front of guys that we're not expecting. But I could not get to that spot yet. I think this is his role year one. 100 to 200 covered snaps, big special teams piece, and hopefully that's because we're healthy on the outside. But I expect Carlton's probably going to miss some time. It's just that's the history. He's going to miss some time for the Lions at some point. Hopefully that's not the case, but I'm just betting that is going to be the case. And maybe that's where he slides in, and then it'll be at that point like, yo, did you beat out Meek Robertson for your spot? Did you beat out Emmanuel Mosley? Are the best five the Lions feel like they can get on the field? Is it you? Are you part of that mix at that point? So that's where I'm at with it. All right. Yeah, big old Enos is really going to have to lay the wood on special teams. This new kickoff should be fun. Facts. Hey, I said DTV man, facts, man. Raheem Anderson trying for center his fourth year. Oh, that's okay. That's his name, Raheem Anderson. All right. Hey, Raheem Anderson, go take that job. I hope I see you against Fresno State. I'm rooting for you, Raheem Anderson. Do your thing, man. Hey, maybe we'll see you in a Lions uniform at some point. You know what I mean? We're rooting for you. It's very possible. Just hopefully he plays healthier than last first round corner Lions pick. Okay, let's yeah, I shouldn't have read that the truth, but you know, the best guys on the field. Meritocracy for the win. Hey, I killed that. I see you with the big words. Hungry Pandas. Hey, Hungry Panda, how you doing? Didn't Straw. Okay, I see you, Straw. Didn't Straw already say he's struggling to learn nickel? Probably. Hey, nickel's a tough spot. Nickel, I think, is one of the most difficult positions statistically to have success at. It's also depending on the scheme. And now I've gotten kind of a firsthand look at this. Dog, they ask a ton of those dudes. I mean, if it's more man heavy, you can kind of simplify it, but you got to know where your help is. You got to know where your leverage is. When do I pass it up for the linebacker? When do I make undercalls? It's even in man coverage. Like you have all of these match principles now where it's difficult, man. So I believe it, especially in zone. I definitely believe it. There's a lot these guys have to be aware of. Where are my landmarks, right? Do I have to play two yards outside of the slot receiver? So it's not just do I have the man, where do I need to align based on the coverage that we're asking? Where do I play this guy? Do I follow him when he motions away or am I passing that off? Like, bro, I could absolutely get that. There's a lot they put on these guys' plates. So there's going to be a lot of football intelligence, which he actually came out with a higher grade than I expected. But I love Enos Rakestraw, bro. Enos is going to be awesome. I love Enos Rakestraw, dude. There's a reason we got the jersey. And the first thing that I will wear to camp is the Enos Rakestraw jersey. Absolutely. I hope I can get that signed. Anyways, I'm not a big autograph guy, but it would be pretty fire. Or at least forget the signature. I want to get a picture wearing that jersey with Rakestraw. That's the goal. Okay, let's continue on to our third pick in this year's draft, and that is going to be Giovanni Manu. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing the dude's name right, but that's what we're going with. All right, Giovanni Manu, offensive tackle / guard. I don't want this to feel like, yo, that's so disrespectful. I don't want this to seem like that, okay? Trust me, I don't. But here we are, Giovanni Manu, the 6'7", 352-pound offensive tackle in college for the Thunderbirds. I think his first season, he's going to be a backup tackle / guard. I know, bold prediction. All right, I don't think he's going to start this year. Here's the bold prediction. I'm going to predict he will not play in the regular season. I hope this is the case in a way because I hope that means we're healthy. I predict he will not play in the regular season. He'll play in the preseason. Here's the thing, though. I don't know what to expect from this guy. I really have no idea what to expect from Manu in the preseason. Like, he could be someone that absolutely goes out there. He's way better than I expected. And any of the concerns, maybe even if it's that tackle that I had at the top of the rush, some of the little technical things, the footwork, all of those things, any of the concerns that I may have had, man, you may not even notice them. He might play really well, and all the positive, all the traits that he carries, you may forget about all of those things. But right now, that's just kind of where I'm at with this one. Backup tackle, backup guard. I think more so for guard, maybe. And that actually could help him early. I don't think he's going to play in the regular season. Dude already on the bubble for not making the team. I think he's going to make the team. But like I touched on at the beginning, like, yo, there is a lot of offensive line to make team. He will make the team. I don't see any scenario where he doesn't make the team. But I definitely don't think we're going to see him in year one. So that's where I'm at with Giovanni Manu. Could be wrong. Prove me wrong. I hope I am wrong. But I think, again, this is a long-term play for the Lions. Similar to what we saw with Broderick Martin, right? The guy played in 3 games. A couple of those games, I think one of them, he played like 8 snaps. That could be the case here with Giovanni Manu. All right, let's continue on to the next pick. Sione Vaki, the safety / running back, more so running back for the Lions. We're going to focus on running back. And actually, I had clips to show highlights of these players, and I was going to do that. But because I'm doing this live, I can't like cut these clips in and then pull them out and then show you the graphics. So I apologize. We've been talking so much about these guys. I don't have those. We can show those later, but I just don't have. I'm not playing those right now. Regardless, though, the guy with 42 carries, 317 yards. Here's my projected for year one. I think he's our kick returner. I think he comes in, he's the kick returner for Lions. A new kickoff role, someone's going to have to do it. I think he does it. I think that's where he adds value immediately on special teams. A lot of these guys are going to have to add value on special teams. If you look at last season, we had, and I don't know what this is, return. No, hold up. Yards per kick return is what I use. I don't even know if that's a real thing. I don't even know if that's like a real YPK. I don't know what that is. But anyways, last year, Khalil Dorsey, who actually did some good there, averaged 20.6 yards per kick return. Now, he did that in 12 kick returns. You look at Craig Reynolds, he averaged 5. Now, it's a whole different situation. You're going to get a lot more kick returns. That is the goal. It is not going to look like that anymore. So that's not something I can really compare it to. But Craig also had a fumble. So I think he's going to take this role immediately. Pass protection is the biggest question. That is the biggest question, because if you guys remember last year, there were times when Jahmyr Gibbs was not on the field, and on pass downs where you would expect, like, oh, that's Jahmyr Gibbs' spot, it was David Montgomery, because that dude would pass protect. That is the biggest question with Sione Vaki. I really don't have much to base this on. I don't know what that's going to look like. The guy played receiver in high school. I know that he can catch the football. I think he's got a lot of upside in that role. I just don't know what the heck he's going to do as a pass protector year one. I just don't know. I don't know where we're at with it. That's the biggest challenge, I think, in front. That being said, though, I think he's number 3. Now, the biggest challenge for him will be Craig Reynolds. It will be, can you beat out Craig Reynolds? That's it. That's the guy in front of you right now. I think that's where it's at. And ultimately, I think he does. It's just, man, that is a heck of a battle, dude. Craig Reynolds versus Sione. I mean, that's going to be nasty. I think year one, he has 10 plus receptions, which I know that sounds low, but hear me out. I think David Montgomery had 16 last season. I think long-term, he's going to be huge here. I think long-term, he's going to play some receiver for us. Heck, year one, I think he can play some receiver, just like Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, will. And I think he should. Like, if there is an area where Sione Vaki is going to surprise us and he's going to get his way onto the field early, it's not going to be straight running back. It's not going to be Wildcat running back, even though I listed that, because I think Wildcat running back, we saw it in college, he was effective. And even though we've seen it very little, we have seen Dave Montgomery play as the Wildcat. He's taken the snap. He's had Jahmyr Gibbs next to him. He's done it. I think where he is going to find a way and find a role is as a pass catcher. So I have 10 plus receptions there and kickoff coverage. That's where I'm at with it. I struggle a little bit with his, straight range as a tackler, but on kickoff team, the guy has the toughness. That is the thing that is going to get him on special teams is toughness. All right. Let's continue. If Davis misses games. So if Davis misses games. Wait, Davis. Oh, Carlton Davis. If Carlton Davis misses a game and Arnold plays, he lead against wide receiver ones. Well, he's cornerback 1. He's cornerback 1. And I think, kind of like I touched on, it could become one of those things where it's right cornerback, left cornerback. I mean, most of the time they're going to both be on the field. But if he does that and he can follow guys, let him follow guys around. Like, simply, hey, you take that role. And I think Carlton Davis would have no issue. Maybe Carlton Davis would have an issue with it. But I think you take that role, you become that guy. That's where I'm at with it. So how did Manu find the NFI list? His workout might be kind of insane. What is he doing? Deadlifting? Is he old Honda? Hey, yo, I don't know what he's doing, bro. I don't know. It also could be a sickness thing. I mean, we usually don't, think of it like that, but it could be. Maybe he's just not feeling well, and it's just like, hey, he wasn't feeling well the last couple of days. He's just ended up on this list because we can't put him on there once training camp starts. So I really have no idea. Dude in the bubble, he's a dog. Sione Vaki, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'll agree with you. I don't know who we're talking about here, though. That's on me because I didn't see the comment flying. And then bye. Okay. We will not accept Justin Jefferson slander. All right, that will not be a thing. I will not show that comment on the screen, Hungry Panda. But I love me some Sione Vaki. All right, let's continue. Next up, Mekhi Wingo. Oh, I'm fired up to see this dude. He fits in perfectly, right? Now it's expected. He's a 6th round pick. It's expected, right? The Lions moved up. They went up and got him. And he was like, yo, outside of Rakestraw, he was standing out. We were fired up when we took him. What is his role year one? Well, year one, he's really going to have to fight to get snaps. And I don't know where he gets them. I mean, could he find himself on special teams? Maybe. Field goal block? Maybe. He's not really built to be great on the field goal block team, though. I mean, the guy is 6 foot tall. I don't really know where the value would be there outside of being a very smart player. So with that, I think he is the future. So what was said earlier? I don't remember who said. Whoever said that, hey, make yourself known. I saw you. You were like, hey, I want to see him at the end of the season. Was that you, Shane? Someone said it. Now I want to see him at the end of the season. Well, I completely agree. I think long-term, he's going to be the 1-2 punch with Josh Pascal. I think that is what he's going to do. Now, we're going to show some clips of where I think that role is going to be shown. So when I say D end, all right, you got it. I'm going to give you a better perspective of what I actually mean of that in our very next segment. It's coming up here in a second. So I'm going to show you some ideas of where I think he can play. He also can give you some sub down pass rusher because I think DT Famine just asked that. How much DM will Wingo play? All right. So I'm about to show you some examples, but could it be on the other side is Hutch on predominant rushing downs? I don't think so. I think Pascal is going to be that. I think it's still going to be. I don't think he's going to play stand up very much, if at all. I don't think he should. And then I think, you're going to have John Kaminsky early. He's going to be that guy. So not really where he could. Here's the thing. As much as I think that's the label he'll get long-term, Mekhi Wingo could play some defensive tackle like he did at LSU. He could. He absolutely could. He could play some of that 4-eye. He could play some of that 3 technique. He could play gap and a half. He was capable at LSU of showing you glimpses of yeah, I can do this. And he's built he's undersized, but he's built to play that under tackle role. He's very capable of doing so. So for me, I think sub package is going to be the easiest way for him to kind of be like, hey, I'm here. Let me get on the field. All right. I think he can play that gap and a half role. Me a while. Okay, I see you, Shane. All right. I just wanted to make sure because I knew someone said it, and I was like, all right, here we go. Let's put it back in there. As a Steelers fan, the NFL Network is making me happy playing my 3rd favorite game of the year. Clownland. Oh, stay tuned for that AFC North stuff. Getting blasted in their playoff game. Yeah. Wait, what? That was the Texans game. Yeah, I may have taken the Cleveland to win that game. So, all right, we don't got to talk about that. That was rough. All right, finally, let's continue. Christian Mahogany. I think that's how you say them. Christian Mahogany. I'm terrible pronouncing names. All right, this is the Lions' last pick. They were cool. They took it. They moved on. They were immediately like, yo, let's go to UDFAs. Let me speak to the media. Let's get this thing rolling. So here's the bold, maybe kind of twist here. I think Christian Mahogany is going to be potentially higher up on this depth chart if they're both healthy than Giovanni Manu. I think he will. Now, Mahogany doesn't have that much. I don't think he has really any tackle flexibility. I mean, maybe I'm wrong there, but I don't think he'll do much there. I would love to see if potentially he could be like, hey, I could play a little bit of center. Because I think if he could play a little bit of center, he's going to very quickly work his way up. Because we're not going to see much of that from Colby Sorsel. He's a little bit taller for this role. We're not going to see it from Colby Sorsel. The backup center position is up for grabs. I mean, right now it's Michael Neese, 3 UDFAs. So if he can find his way there, and KO hasn't really done that for us. So I think if he can show you some of that, he could find his way quicker onto the field. That's where I think he can help us. But the bold prediction here, I think he becomes the second backup guard. I like KO. So part of me is like, yo, you're crazy. You like KO. Don't say that. This KO is above this guy. But they would have all said and done. He could easily be above KO. He could easily be above him coming into this season. And if that's the case, he's going to easily find his way onto this roster because you expect rookies to make the team. I expect Giovanni's going to make the team, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a lock that he's going to make the team this season. I think he will. I wouldn't say it's a full-on lock, though. But I think you will see offensive snaps this season. He may, if injuries do pop up. And I think there's a real possibility that if something does pop up and someone needs to step in at guard for the Lions, that he's the Lions he is the guy the Lions go to first, especially if Colby starts to get some snaps at right tackle. I think it's very possible, especially if he takes that role kind of for Giovanni, and I think that's very capable. So I'm going to put him as interior offensive lineman number 7. But as Colby's getting snaps at tackle and he's able to prove himself there, and Dan Skipper, let's see how that plays out. I think he'll be above KO for that role. Nite Mutai is above KO to Mahogany going into the right. I don't think so. Well, take that back. Maybe on paper, yes. But I think by the time we're done with training camp, I think no. I think by the time we're done with training camp, it will be here's the thing. I don't think Christian Mahogany, I don't know, and I don't want to do this to him, but I don't know if there's what the future is really there for him to be he's the starter at guard long term. I don't really see that, maybe that upside even being there. But you know what he is. He does it well. He could play in his role already. He's very capable of stepping in day one and playing in if you need him to. And that's where I think the benefit helps him. The flip side is I just don't know what the long-term there is. Colby Sorsel, upside. KO'd could come in and be above him. Absolutely. I do agree with that. I don't know about Nite Mutai, though. I don't think that's going to be the case. Nite Mutai, similarly, you kind of know what he is. He actually does some things similarly to Christian Mahogany. Mahogany might be a better puller as an offensive lineman. I think, if I remember right, Nite Mutai is a 7th round pick. So I'm going to put Christian Mahogany above Nite Mutai. All right. That is your projected rookie roles as we are about to hit the 30-minute mark. Man, we nailed that segment. Hey, hold up. I got the clip for it, yo. I got the clip. All right. Let me get this thing rolling. Where's it at? Where's it at? Here we go. We killed that. Hey, we killed that dog. All right. All I can see is his leg being small when I look at Mahogany now. You can see his leg being small. Wait, did I? Okay, I don't know what that's referring to. I may have said something like that. I hope I didn't put that in your head. Wingo is going to find a way to get on the field. He's too good to keep on the sideline. I like it. I like that optimism, man. I do. I like it. And Wingo's smart. You're right. Like, hey, Wingo's smart, man. Wingo's smart. He plays the game the right way. He just doesn't have the measurables for an interior guy. But I don't hate that. I don't hate that. All right. So let me move on to the next thing, which I guess kind of pulls that kind of aspect together a little bit here of Mekhi Wingo finding a way to get onto the field. And then get on to what was the last topic I had here? Let me make sure I don't get the wrong thing. We have the AFC North. We're going to do AFC North predictions. And okay, some of this, we're going to kind of tie through two things together here. So stay tuned. We're going to kind of tie the defensive line because I want to tie like, okay, we were talking about what fronts do they play, those kind of things where guys can find a role. I'm going to save a lot of the direct battles tomorrow and things like that. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. And then we're also going to talk a little bit more about Jack Campbell in the back end and a little bit more about Brian Branch. So just stay tuned for that. Okay, here we go. Let me get that on the screen. Make sure it's not glitching out. And these are shorts. There's not a ton of clips here, but I just kind of want to give you some kind of perspective of what I was saying here. Nite Mutai was 181. Mahogany. Oh, he was 6 round. Okay. So I was wrong. Okay. Let me get this on the screen. Oop. All right, bam. Oh, I guess there doesn't need to be sound to this. I could put these on different. Put these on different graphics. Oh shoot, I got a call. Okay, let me share this on the screen. Let me take this call real quick, and then we're gonna hop back on just real quick. But yeah, this shouldn't take long. Okay, let me. Boom. Wait. Oh, okay. Boom. All right. Give me 1 second, and we'll get into this next spot here. Let me take this call though real quick. Okay. Yeah, we're back. I was muted. I was on the phone right there. Okay, we're back though. Let's do this. So yeah, it just paused as well. I wasn't playing the clips. So this first thing, this is what I wanted to kind of draw some attention to. Let me make sure. Can y'all see me still? You should be able to see me still. Let me make sure that it's still. I think I might. Oh no, hold up. It's about to glitch. I just clicked OBS. Dang it, bro. Okay, give me 1 second. Oh my goodness, dog. Is it not opening? Please don't open. Don't open it. Oh, you opened. Okay, great. Yeah. Did it close? Okay, cool. My good, yo. OPS dog. All right, we're good. We're back. All right, here we go. Brad Holmes called Dose asking him not to be so honest with okay, yeah. Hey, yo. Okay. I think Wingo 1 to 2 year NFL weight room. I like that. Hey, especially if he's going to DT. Saw his list of Holmes draft picks that are on the bubble. Levi, Jefferson, Mitchell, Rodrigo, Houston, Martin. Nah, not Martin, bro. Hey, I'm not putting Martin there. I wouldn't put Martin there. Sorstel, I wouldn't. Sorstel's tough because I like Sorstel, but it is tough because KO'd. And you also got, can he play a little bit of tackle? I don't know because you like Dan Skipper. So he's going to have to beat Dan Skipper out. I think there's a lot of ways he might have to beat out Dan Skipper this year. Antoine Green, I think fairly, yeah, because Antoine Green was only a 7th round pick. So I don't think he has like that going for him. And there's also the aspect of like, I like some of these UDFAs, man. I think Antoine Green's going to do really well, though, in preseason because we saw some good flashes last year during the preseason. They've spoken well of him. We just haven't really seen it during regular season. I think he's going to do well, though. Okay, so let's do this. So first off, show a different couple front looks here from the Lions. First thing I would say is this. So we don't have Julian Okwara. So the first thing I want to showcase is this position right here, right? Julian Okwara playing, he's playing in this stand-up role, but he's basically a 9 technique after the motion here. Same thing with Hutchinson on both sides. So this is where you get more of kind of that 3-4 front look. And now I was wondering because I was like, okay, we talked about Jack Campbell, and we were like, wait, why was Jack Campbell playing kind of that sandbacker role early in the season? I was like, I don't really remember, but I think it was because Derek Barnes was playing the middle linebacker role early in the season. So I think that's why that happened. And then later in the season, they kind of came back to it. It's almost like Derek Barnes kind of kicked down. Jack Campbell became the middle linebacker. And then at the end of the season, San Fran, he kind of kicked back to that role. So first thing I want to show. So this position right here, Matthew Betts, keep an eye on that, right? Obviously, Derek Barnes, right, kicks down there. James Houston, that kind of thing. But secondly, it's going to be this guy because this guy is the key for the Lions, man. I know we've talked about this before, but he is the key. So right now it's John Kaminsky. Next year it's going to be a lot of Josh Pascal, and it could be both of them on the field at the same time. And then also it's going to be Mekhi Wingo, I think. I think this is where the Lions would like to have Mekhi Wingo. Now, if you're wondering why, well, there's a couple things. So 4-eye, inside shade of the offensive tackle. We saw in college that Mekhi Wingo can play that gap and a half role, right? He can handle that. So plays like this, where you want to play from the B to the A, and you want guys like Lee McNeil to handle the guard. I don't know if he's necessarily built for that yet. He's a little bit undersized for that role, a little bit undersized for tackle. Like, who said that? Was that the truth? Yeah, true. 1 to 2 years in a weight room. But this is the role, man. This is where I think we're going to see long-term. This is where Mekhi Wingo's going to step in. I'm keeping an eye on that position. And obviously, you have your zero technique. You have your nose tackle, in this case, Benito Jones, who, if you didn't realize, he is not if you didn't realize, this player, not a downgrade from DJ Reader. I didn't say it. NFL did. But okay. So I just want to showcase that first, kind of where I think these roles kind of come into play. And, Matthew Betts, James Houston, that kind of thing. These guys can kind of take into that role. So again, different front look here. 4-eye, a little bit more into 3 technique here for Benito Jones on this play. So again, this is where I think you could potentially see Mekhi Wingo find his way into that. We got Broderick Martin at nose tackle, just to kind of show you that look here. And then again, I think some of this could be Derek Barnes. But definitely Matthew Betts. If he can make the team, definitely Matthew Betts, because Matthew Betts can move, man. Matthew Betts could drop into coverage. The Lions routed up like, oh, we were a little surprised there. Also, look, I see you, Jack Campbell, with that hit. So now we have Jack Campbell, an off-ball linebacker here against the Raiders. And this is something I think we showed this when we did our Broderick Martin video, so this isn't really anything new, but I just kind of want to showcase right here, right? John Kaminsky playing in his gap and through his gap. That's something that I think we could see Mekhi Wingo kind of work his way into. Actually, I'm noticing right now, all of these clips are basically from the Raiders game. I just wanted to show you guys different looks, different sets that the Lions could put on the field. Now here you have different front, right? You still have that 9 outside of the tight end on this play, 9 technique, hand in the dirt. Now you got that 4 down front look, kick back. You kick back Jack Campbell. He's not covered up here by a defensive tackle, so he's going to have to handle the guard. You got a little bit more coverage here for Alex Anzalone and what he actually has in front of him. And this is where you get, this is where Mahogany, I think he can prove that he can play this role, right? He's not going to be kicked out wide, but could he play like a defensive end like this? So now we're seeing 2 different fronts from that defensive end role. Could he play like this? I think so. They may even classify him more as a 7 technique here than a 5 because he's not really right up on the tackle shoulder. either way, in that role, that may be a little bit more of Josh Pascal and John Kaminsky. We've seen them do with that over the last couple of years. But again, I think Mekhi Wingo, like some of y'all do, could surprise us. Not the best here in the 3 technique. I don't think you want Mekhi Wingo here. Not the best look here from Alex Anzalone, kind of getting shoved off the spot in the 3 technique. But I just want to show some different looks here. Now, the flip side is really what I want to focus on. I'm going to get this on the screen because we showed some of that stuff already. We showed some of that last year. But the flip side is what I want to showcase. And this is going to be a little bit more of the back end, a little bit more Jack Campbell, a little bit more kind of the idea of where I think we could really get that impact. I think I put it in the title. Yeah, I did. Campbell and Branch impact. So that's this segment. And I want to show you guys some different looks from this. And some of this is from 2022. Some of it's from 2023. Some of it shows Branch. Some of it doesn't. But I think it's where the role can kind of come into play here. So boom, we'll pop that back on the screen. If you can't see this, let me know too. I can make this thing full screen. Actually, let me do that. Let me make it full screen. Because it does look a little small. So I want to make sure you guys can see that. So me. Boom. Oh, not that. Why is that an option? Why is this an option? This is so random. It's like I'm just watching Jerry. Okay, don't do that. Oh. Hey, if we were just looking at the front 7, though, this would look kind of fire. Not sure why this is an option either. I don't know what I was doing. This is the best. Okay, we'll rock with this. All right. So this one, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch showing a couple different things. So first off, neither of those guys are on the field right now. Neither of them are on the field. But what I wanted to show, and I have some statistics to kind of tell you really what I'm talking about here. So this picks up where I was like, hey, could Brian Branch be a safety for the Lions? We were talking about that a little bit, and I had some numbers. I want to expand on that a little bit here when we talk through this and where these guys' roles can come into play. So let's keep in mind this, right? More man coverage this season. So if we start off with Brian Branch, right, working his role come into play. So one thing we have to keep in mind is when the Lions played a lot more man, a lot of cover 1 looks, you're going to have a whole player, unless you're blitzing, unless it's cover 1 blitz, you're going to have a whole player that can play in the zone. In this case, I think you have an extra defensive back on the field, so that's important to keep in mind. But yeah, this is where I think, you have to keep an eye on guys like Kerby Joseph. So here's what I was talking about. We're going to have guys pass off routes. You're going to have guys like that. So here, Will Harris, pass it off. Adam Thielen does this crosser. He's going to pass it to safety. This is where Brian Branch, I think, can help us a lot this season because he's going to be able to step down and take this route. So let me throw you some numbers to this. If you look at 2022, before Brian Branch got here, 2022, in coverage, Kerby Joseph was actually solid at man coverage. He was good at man coverage. 8 receptions on 12 targets allowed. He earned a 59.8 graded man. He was solid at man coverage. Then you had guys like Deshaun Elliott, who was good at man coverage as well. He's no longer here. CJ Moore did well in man coverage, just a very little sample size. And then Tracy Walker, who's no longer here. Move to this past season in 2023. Now you move on to, again, C.D. Deuce was good. He's no longer here. Tracy Walker, no longer here. And it was Iffy, who honestly, on paper, we said this before, on paper, I love the idea of Iffy being able to play man coverage, being able to handle some of this role like we see here with Kerby Joseph, rolling down, take the receiver, because he's a former cornerback, but he was not great for the Lions this last season in man coverage. 10 receptions, 12 targets, earned a 51.3 coverage grade, and this was, again, mainly at safety for the Lions. And then Kerby Joseph, again, solid at safety, 11 receptions on 18 targets. Solid. He's had 2 solid seasons playing that man coverage role. So that's the other thing I want to pass on. Second thing is, like you see here with Alex Anzalone. So when we talk about Alex Anzalone playing faster, being able to play man coverage, he's been nice in man coverage. Jalen Reeves-Maybin's been nice. Even Derek Barnes has been solid in man coverage, especially when he's just asked to race and chase. I don't know if that's even a thing. Race and chase backside of the backfield, right? If you think back to when we first had, and Alex has been way better. Like, let me make that clear. Alex has been really good in man coverage. You can find a ton of games where Alex is doing his thing in man coverage. I wasn't even looking for it. And I see games like Carolina, he's, just ripping the ball out of running backs, trying to want to run a wheel route, those kind of things. He's been good there. All right, the second thing, value, right? 2022, Jack Campbell's not here yet. Brian Branch is not here yet. But I'm pulling it back to 2022 to show you guys simply what I'm – okay, right here. PFF has Iffy as number 9 safety in the end of the year. I was surprised by that. See, and now Iffy did his thing. I just think that role on paper is great for Iffy. Like, it makes a ton of sense. I just didn't think he was great in man coverage as safety. But Iffy did play really well. We saw a little bit more zone last season, a little bit more zone. He was good as a zone coverage corner, zone coverage safety, actually, for us, I thought. And Iffy had a ton of flexibility because they could rip, they could liz, they could pull a safety down, they could rotate one back upfield, and he could play both as, okay, let's put him in the flat. right? Let's roll him down. Maybe we want to put him in the box. Maybe we want to kick him outside. Maybe he wants to play the flat zone. Maybe he wants to play the hook curl. Like, he was good at those things. But this is another thing that I think you can add value. Even though we didn't see it last season, this is an era where in 2022, more man coverage where we got to see these guys useful. And just picture Brian Branch, picture having Jack Campbell in these roles. So on this, Lions go man coverage. Now, notice there's no deep safeties here because they're in the goal line situation. So they're just going to utilize, sorry, I didn't mean to put that on the screen. They're going to utilize these two underneath backers. So in this case, what are the safeties having to do? Let me show you. I didn't mean to go that far. Deshaun Elliott has to play man coverage. So he has to play man here. You have your other safety, has to play man here, Kirby Joseph. Then he's going to pass it off underneath. So this is exactly what we said about Jack Campbell. Like, he is, I actually wrote this down. Let me make this clear. Jack Campbell, he knows how to find the ball. He's balanced in pass coverage in the second level. He knows how to find the ball. That was a little bit more towards some of the run defensive stuff. But to me, Jack Campbell is built for this role of like, okay, pass it off to the safety. He goes vertical, pass it off. He goes out to the flat, pass it off. He is built to play that role, and I'm going to show you an exact example of him doing that in college. And this is something that I think he can carry over, is the passing, the communication. This is something that the Lions, I think, envisioned. He can do this in the NFL at a really high level. Again, back to the safeties. Can the safeties play man coverage? So this is where when you have safeties, like, I don't know how great they are in man specifically. Brian Branch, go back to college, he was great against tight ends. Brian Branch in the NFL last season, he allowed 12 receptions on 29 targets. Now, I don't think he's the best matchup piece when we talked about this for tight ends directly. He's just not really built for that. But the further these guys get downfield, the window for the quarterback to put the ball shrinks. So now what we've seen from Brian Branch is he does a really nice job of really closing airspace when he is matched up with man coverage. So I think that window is going to shrink the further he gets downfield. So even plays like this, right? Hutchinson drops out, gives it off to the safety on this play. Safety needs to drive on the ball. Kirby actually did a really nice job in 2021 in man coverage. Here is the play, though. I'm going to give you two plays. Y'all, are you with me? Look at these two plays, man. These are two things that I need to show you because this is like, hey, picture Jack Campbell. You're going to love this. Watch this. This is something we saw a ton of. Red zone, right? It's a 21-yard line. Third down, two-man looks. We saw a ton of this. So here's what I want to show you, right? You have Chris Board manned up here on Alan Lazard. This is something that we saw last season from Alex Anzalone. This matchup, Alex handled this. Whoa, why is my mouse not matched up? Okay, there it is. This matchup, we saw Alex handle this. At this point, in this spot, is Chris Board. We've seen Jalen Reese-Maven handle this responsibility. He's built to do that. I don't think we're going to see much of this from Jack Campbell because he's a little bit, he doesn't have the lowest center of gravity. So when you put him in these matchups, he's a little bit on the taller side. He has really good body control. He can move. And Hungry Pan, I'm about to get to your hot take. I have not looked at it, but I'm about to get to it. Let me see. Hot take, the number one most important we cannot lose, including quarterback, is Alex Anzalone. If he's out, so our chances in the play. Yo, I love that you said that. And I'm glad I looked at that when I did. I'm really glad at that because Alex Anzalone, You're 100%. Alex Anzalone has been awesome the last couple of seasons. He's been awesome in these matchups. So watch this. And Alex is going to, at times, have to kick to this Chris Board role. But watch this, right? So this is not the matchup you want. You don't want Alex covering the speed they put in the slot. So what do the Lions do, right? You put the number receiver, 3 receiver in the slot, and you're like, yo, if he carries that, he's got no shot. So the Lions, as soon as that goes vertical, pass it off. And then he's going to drop back underneath, and now he's got to work through the number 2 receiver, and now the safety has to take it. So not only do I love the impact of, okay, Jack Campbell was awesome in this role in college, but secondly, because he has the body control, but secondly, it's also, but now this is Brian Branch. This is Brian Branch. Brian Branch can pick this up. And I have no concerns at all, especially if you have that number 3 receiver running a deep corner. No concerns at all about him picking that up. None. He can pick that up. He'll be fine. He's going to close this even better than I think Kirby Joseph can. Okay? And you can see defensively, did a great job, took everything away. Aaron Rodgers like, I don't know where to go to football. All of a sudden, here comes Aiden Hutchinson, gets the sack. It was a beautiful play. Great coverage there. Now, here is the play in college. Similarly, where's the safety at? Number 3 receiver, Jack Campbell. He played a little bit, kind of the overhang. He's playing a little bit into the slot. We saw this a few times. Saw it against Carolina. We saw this a few times last season. But here's the key. Receiver goes vertical. Watch the vision here. This is what Jack does well. You don't need him to carry the receiver vertically, but you need the vision. So he sees it, pass it off to safety, bam. Now his eyes, find the number 2 receiver, step down on that route. Now the number 3 receiver comes back through, find the route, and then it's the ball skills. It is when everything kind of slows down as soon as the ball gets into the air. Aaron Rodgers, I apologize, actually. I apologize that I said that. I messed that all the way up. So that's what I'm saying. That's where I put in the title, Campbell and Branch impact. That is another example, and I want to make this clear because when I did the video, the last one, I was like, and I was listening to it, I was doing the lawnmower, I was cutting the grass, and I was listening to our last podcast episode. And I was like, okay, I did some good things. We talked about some good things, but I did not address where guys like Jack Campbell and guys like Brian Branch could be extremely impactful for us, right? When guys like Brian Branch will play at safety just like this, but in these man coverage roles. Because if you watch Brian Branch, look how he moves. Brian Branch closes airspace. He just closes it. You see how he closes there? That's what he does. He just closes airspace. And this is where I think, even though this isn't a perfect example, these are the two things that they can combine and do really well together. So even here with a guy like Jack Campbell, kind of just showed an example of him getting really good depth in coverage, finding the receiver, that kind of thing. Really good in coverage there. Okay. Let me also make sure I don't miss any other stats, because I'll be mad if I miss some of the things that I wanted to showcase here. Don't think I missed anything else I wanted to showcase. Okay, cool. All right. Again, just kind of giving some more love to Jack Campbell in coverage. Right. Again, it's not your like pure man. Here you go in some cover 3 look, right? Your safety takes it. He's going to pass it off to the free safety. He's got to drive down on this play, takes it away. Quarterback doesn't know where to go the ball. Now he's throwing the pass away. Also, good job, Jerry Jacobs. I know he's no longer here. Someone signed Jerry Jacobs. I don't know if he got signed yet. Signed Jerry, but maybe got a little away with a little bit of something there. And then it's obviously the movement skills. One more clip. Jack Campbell, movement skills, ball skills. He gets really good depth and he finishes. As soon as the ball is in his hands, he's a finisher. And I think that's a great example of that. So I just wanted to give some flowers, but more specifically tell you guys, like, you're going to see this next season, because last season, where at times, like, the right lines have off-man corners, they have Cam Sutton, they have some of the smaller corners. I remember when we signed Cam Sutton, y'all remember, I was like, yo, I think he should be a slot. Next season, you got guys that he is going to love this. Aaron Glenn is going to be hype. You think I'm hype? Aaron Glenn's going to be hype. He's like, wait a minute. I got Terran Arnold. He's going to jam guys at line. He's going to be physical. I got Carlton Davis, who was top 10 in separation allowed and closing the most windows for the quarterback to throw into one-on-one. He wants to get on. Guys, you could go back, and I was just doing this for fun. If you go back to what Carlton Davis did at Auburn, the way that he got on guys at the line of scrimmage, the matchups that he would play one-on-one, the way that he would play guys like, who's the dude from the Saints? Who's the dude from the Saints? Some people don't like because he runs a ton of slants. Michael Thomas. Those one-on-one matches when he would just battle dudes at the line. So now all of a sudden you give these physical, feisty, Enos Rakestraw, physical, feisty, Amik Robertson. So they can play off, man, but they want to be physical. They want to get on you as a cornerback. And now when you're wide corners, we play off-man coverage. That's fine. So he's got those dudes. He's got these man coverage pieces. And now this is where the versatility comes in. And I think we're going to see certain sets that we saw much less of in 2023 that we saw much more of in 2022. These plays where it's, hey, my safety's got to deal with coverage here. Or, hey, my linebacker, he's going to have to handle this until it pushes vertical. That is what these two dudes are literally meant to do. Jack Campbell's built for that. I love it, man. So I just wanted to kind of showcase some of that. Aaron Rodgers is a Karen. Okay. Ask Salah if the record, he will tell you. Off the record, he will tell you. I don't know why I read that if. Off the record, he will tell you, hey, I may have taken that team to win the division. Truth, you're not making me feel good about that, man. Poor Jets get all the Karen drama. Yeah, they do. Ken was not feeling it. Hey, I took the Jets. Karen, I appreciate you. He did not hold back. He was like, yo, you took the Jets? I did. Yeah, they're okay. He's no longer a Packer. Okay. All right. So I think, is that the last? I think there's one more thing. That actually takes us into our last segment. I appreciate y'all being cool with me kind of doing that like little segment again, because I'm like, yo, I missed some certain plays that I needed to show, because I think some of these things are going to come back. They're definitely going to come back this next season, and had to give some credit to that, like the rolling safeties, those kind of things. Now, here's the last thing that I want to showcase, or not showcase, but this is the last segment here, and you guys saw it. Let me get this back on the screen. Bam. AFC North. This is the final division. You guys have seen the last two. If you haven't, that's fine. To end each show, we have went, and we're also going to react to the comments from the last episode. But we have went through. I've given you guys my prediction on where each team will finish in their division. So today, the last AFC division we have, and then we're going to move to NFC. And then, of course, by the time this is all said and done, it'll be perfect because we'll be able to hit the Lions division and things like that. We're going to save that one for last, of course. But today on page 288, I'm glad I wrote that down because I would not have found this. 288. Right here. Okay, so page 288. And I'm going to show you guys the rosters before we get to that. So let's go there. Chart. Okay. And yeah, today AFC North. So we got Browns, we got Steelers, we got Ravens. Let's do it. Let me share this on the screen. Wait, did I just take the thing off the screen? It's whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be easier to see like this anyway, so it's fine. All right. What? Okay. Nope. Oh, see, look, that for a second wanted to look cool, but it didn't. Okay, cool. So let's do it. Let's go to the AFC North. Not gonna give away until we start talking through these. Not spoiling these. All right, let's start off. Which one do we want to do first? Let's go Baltimore. Let's just start it off with a bang, man. Baltimore Ravens. So where do we have the Ravens finishing? All right, look, Ravens, man, won the division last year, 13-4, went to the AFC Championship game, lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. And a couple things that stand out about the roster. Of course, they have their quarterback. They know what they have there. Have one of the better quarterbacks in the league, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They have Derrick Henry now into that mix, which was their huge addition. Added Roger Rosengarten. I mean, this entire offense, I mean, they're built on draft picks through their offensive line. That's how they're built here. But it's not a maybe great offensive line. It's maybe one of the biggest concerns because outside of Linderbaum, there's a lot of guys stepping in that they don't really know, right? You got Voorhees at guard, don't really know what you're going to get at USC. There's a lot of questions. Ronnie Stanley hasn't been great, going back, to the injury that he had suffered. Then you got a rookie stepping in at right tackle. So there's a lot of unknowns there. Also, I don't like the receiver room. I don't love it. It's fine. I don't love it. Nelson Aguilar, he's done some good things. Rashad Bateman, I don't love that at all. Rashad Bateman has not been that dude in the NFL. Zay Flowers is awesome. Then they had Tez Walker out of North Carolina, who I didn't love either. Now, he can get vertical. He is one of these guys that was picked later in the draft. You're like, yo, who late in this draft can actually get over top and stack corners? Tez Walker can do that. So they're going to keep that vertical passing game alive. I just don't love it. Clearly, they want to be able to run the football. You really like their tight ends. It's kind of like Buffalo in a way. You could argue maybe they even have better personnel, but I don't like their offensive line. But they want to run the football. They got two nice tight ends here. Really, Isaiah Likely's been awesome. Charlie Kohler's fine too. And then they have Derrick Henry now in the mix. So I like that. They can run the football, Patrick Ricard. They can play nasty. And we saw it firsthand. When they played us, it's all the movement. It's all these tight ends, it's all the movement. They're going to make all of your linebackers work. If you don't have backers when you play this team, you are in trouble, man, because they're going to put you guys in conflict over and over. And we saw that last season. They put our guys they put Derek Barnes in conflict. They put Jack Campbell in conflict. I think it was more so Jack Campbell. And we had some issues. Now, defensively, you move on to the defensive side. Love their secondary. They went out and drafted Nate Wiggins, which Nate Wiggins is a dog. He's my second favorite corner in this year's draft. I love Nate Wiggins. So, not everybody loves him. Not everybody loves that he wasn't like a nasty tackler, and that's why I really like the Enos Rakestraw fit. But that dude, I love me some Nate Wiggins. And you already have Marlon Humphrey, who's had injuries. You have Brandon Stevens, who's done well. They moved off of the veteran cornerback, whose name is slipping my mind. I can't think. We looked at him in our last one. I can't think of who it was. Either way, they moved off him, and he played really well. He just played a very small lot last season because of injuries. And, they had a TJ Tampa. I wasn't that high on TJ Tampa. But either way, Kyle Hamilton, now they go out. They add their veteran safety, and Eddie Jackson. They have an awesome secondary. My concern, and tell me if I'm wrong, should I be a little concerned about, I don't even know what IPP means, by the way. I don't IPP. Okay, stop. I don't know what that means straight up. I have no idea. But I should be a little concerned, right, about the edge rushers like Odafe Owe, David Ojabo, and I don't know what does that mean he's healthy? I don't know if he's healthy or not. I like their interior. Matabike got paid. Michael Pierce is nice. Travis Jones, they got a nice interior defensive line. And on the other edge, Broderick Washington, I'm a little bit concerned of that personally. I don't know what that's going to look like, but the back end will help them. So where do we have Baltimore Ravens finishing? Let me know. Where do you guys got Baltimore finishing in the division this season? They are currently the favorites. They are plus 110 to win their division. I have Baltimore Ravens finishing second in the AFC North this season. That's right. I got them second. I got them second in the AFC North this season. So let's continue on. Let's now move to Cincinnati. That is my second place team. They are the favorites to win the division. We like you, bud. Oh, there you go. I missed that. I don't know why I missed that. As long as Lamar Jackson is there, Baltimore will never scare me. Okay, so you like the fact that I put them in second. I see you. Yes, sir. Okay, second. Let's continue on. Let's go to – let me click that X button. All right, cool. Let's go to Cincinnati. So Cincinnati is second. They are the second favorite to win this division. They are plus 160 to win this division. And I love the Jermaine Burton pick. Obviously, the off-the-field stuff was a big thing there, but I love the Jermaine Burton pick. I think that's going to be huge for them. Charlie Jones, I liked him a lot coming out of Purdue. Was that Purdue? Yeah, it was Purdue. Now, their offensive line, there's going to be some questions there with their offensive line. They're the other team that kind of has those questions. in this division. PFF ranked them 21st. And the big thing here is that they addressed their tackle position. They needed to do this. They added Trent Brown, Orlando Brown. You need him healthy. But then they went out and took Armarius Mims with their first pick. So they added an offensive tackle. He can run. Well, Lamar, he can definitely run. But they added an offensive tackle, so their offensive tackle is better. Their interior is just very questionable with what they actually have going on here. Let's see if that comes together. That's always been a question with them. It's always come back to should they have drafted Penei Sewell, but they've made it work with Higgins. They just need Joe Burrow healthy. And the thing is, they won with Jake Browning last year. So, the way that I think, man, they won with Jake Browning. They found a way to win regardless of really who was out there. And then this year, I don't love their running back room, but Zach Moss is solid. Zach Moss is really solid. Chase Brown, I don't hate it. I don't love it, though, either. And then defensively, man, the defensive line, they lost their due to us. They lost DJ Reader. I think that's a huge loss. But credit to them, they tried to address it. They tried. BJ Hill, Sheldon Rankins through free agency, who could definitely get up to the quarterback, just doesn't do much against the run. And then Chris Jenkins out of Michigan. I was a big Chris Jenkins guy. Then they went out and got a nose tackle, pure nose tackle, in McKinley Jackson out of Miami. I think that's that player. And then obviously they got Trey Hendrickson, who had like 20 sacks this past season. So the defensive line's fine. I just don't love the fact that they lost who they lost. It just seems like they need these guys to come together. They need Chris Jenkins. They need Zach Carter. They need McKinley Jackson. Like they need Joseph Osai. They need these young guys to come together. And then as you move back to the next level, I like what they have. Obviously, Logan Wilson in this mix. I like that. Jermaine Pratt's nice. And then the back end are pretty strong as well. Cam Taylor-Britt. Mike Hilton's been good. DJ Turner wasn't great last season, but, I think, was that his rookie year? DJ Turner's rookie season. It wasn't great, but it was his rookie year. He allowed a pretty low completion percentage, though. And, they brought in Gina Stone, which is massive. They brought in a massive safety. They addressed their safety position. So, for me, it's about keeping Burrow healthy. It's about the interior offensive line, and it's about the defensive line really taking that step forward because the other things I like. So, for me, what's up, Brian? How you doing? Ravens finished third behind my Steelers and Bengals. Ah, dang. Wait, so you got the Bengals last. As long as Burrow is healthy and his wrist doesn't snap in two again. Okay. Wait. Oh, no, you got Ravens third. I'm sorry. Behind the Bengals and your Steelers. Okay, so you got the Bengals 1 or you got the Steelers 1? I'm mad at you if you got the Steelers 1. You're a Steelers fan. I ain't mad at it. I can't hate on that. But Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati finishing number 3. I got Cincinnati number 3. I know it sounds crazy. I got them number 3 in this division. So maybe I have Pittsburgh 1 too. Hold up. I might have Pittsburgh number 1. Well, let's move on to our next one, which is the Cleveland Browns. And I really like the Ken Dorsey shot to Jim Schwartz. Hey, Jim Schwartz makes it hard not to love this team, man. And obviously their defense was awesome, especially at home. On the road, it was the same. But at home, they were awesome. They had the craziest game of the year with the Indianapolis Colts. That was insane. And when I look at this team, obviously you have to start with defense, but we'll start with the offense. Don't love the receiver room. This division, I don't like the receivers in this division that much, man. I do like Jamari Thrash, but, man, he is a boomer bust, bro. He had some pass-catching issues for sure. I liked him a lot because he could get open. He's got some real pass-catching issues, and they've had issues hitting on receivers outside of Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's awesome. As long as he's healthy, he's awesome. They added Elijah Moore, who did some really nice things. And then you got Jerry Jeudy, who they traded for. They still have my guy David Bell. I just don't love that room just from what they've done so far. One of the best offensive lines in football. But the big question here, and it's something to keep an eye on. It really is. Like, I don't think the Lions would do this, but it is something to keep an eye on, is Jack Conklin, who potentially could get traded. They have DeJuan Jones. Jack Conklin might not start this year. And since, he's missed a lot of time being with the Cleveland Browns, and that's what the concern is. If Conklin gets traded, chat, let me know. Should the Lions be interested? I don't think they will be because of the injuries, but I think in like a wild universe, like it's just something that's kind of interesting to think about. Like if you traded for Conklin and you got him on a really nice trade deal, it's not super expensive. You would have one of your tackles for the next couple of years. You could move Penei Sewell to left tackle. I don't think they'll do it. I just think it's interesting. And then, I like David Njoku, who's taken off for them. No 200. Yeah, that's the problem. That's why I don't think they'll do it, but I just think it's interesting because, financially, it'd be something to just keep an eye on. Nick Chubb coming back is huge for them. They missed him a lot last year. So obviously the biggest issue here is Deshaun Watson. I was kind of just like waiting to get here. Deshaun Watson, I don't think he's played well at all. He had the Baltimore game. He was terrible. Second half, he was awesome. I struggle to trust this guy at all, bro. I struggle at all. But the positive is they got Jameis Winston. No? Okay. Defensively, though, I really like this team. Clownlin completely overachieved last year. The D will come back to earth. That might be the case. I do like Michael Hall, though, because he can get after it, and their defensive line is really strong here. Obviously, it starts with Myles Garrett. They have a nice little nose tackle in Ika. potentially. Linebacker room, Devin Bush is in the mix. Like, I don't know if I love that, the second level, but the cornerback play is really strong. Greg Newsome, it's just about health because their depth is very questionable. I don't really like the depth at all in the back end, but Greg Newsome, Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward, and Martin Everson. That is a nasty three-headed monster corner. I like that. So for me, man, there's questions. I really have questions about depth here because at quarterback, who's missed some time, at receiver, at cornerback, there's a lot of questions I have about depth. However, I really like the addition of Ken Dorsey. I love me some Jim Schwartz, and I may be crazy, but I got him first in the division. I'm taking Cleveland to win the AFC North. That sounds so crazy. I absolutely feel like I should take the Baltimore Ravens, but I'm putting them first in this division. And the truth, man, I hate this. I hate that I'm doing you like this because I like what they did. They invested heavy. They did not hold back at all. Mason McCormick, Troy Fautanu, Zach Frey, they invested like crazy on this offensive line. So they did what they could to make this thing better. But I'm taking them last division. I just don't like the quarterback situation, man. Here's the thing. Here's a strong argument I think you could make against what I'm saying is that the Denver Broncos won 8 games last year with Russell Wilson, and he was fine statistically. They won 8 games, and you could easily say that, especially if this offensive line starts to come together this year, they are much better defensively. They are much better defensively than what the Denver Broncos were. So I think you can make a really like. I love their linebacker. I love the fact they got Patrick Queen. I love that they got Peyton Wilson. Like, they got some dudes, man. They got some dogs back there. They just find a way to always have a winning record. Right? Last season, what were they? 9-8 last season. And Denver was 8-9, and they have a worse defense. And they had Russell Wilson as a quarterback. I really like what Joey Porter Jr. did last season. They have Deshaun Elliott. Minkah Fitzpatrick's kind of the standout back here. Dante Jackson, I'm a little bit concerned about there. A little bit concerned about that. I don't know about the slot quarterback position either here. But Deshaun Elliott's actually been pretty good when he's been on the field. He's been pretty good. So that's kind of a nice little carry over there. Keanu Benton in line to potentially get a big deal here soon, right? And then Cam Hayward, there's a lot of trade buzz. I don't think the Lions would do it. I just don't think it makes sense. I don't know why, if I was Lions, what I would trade for. I just think you're about to pay. If someone's there, you're paying probably at least $20 million a year. So, I wouldn't do it. But, when you have the linebacker room that they do, Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, and you have nasty Peyton Wilson tied along with Patrick Queen, that is fun to watch, bro. I think this is the team that could prove me wrong. It's just a really good division. I think last year they didn't have a team with a losing record. I don't think they did, unless it was Cincinnati, because I think they may have went 8-9. They may have won 8-9. I think, Pittsburgh went 9-8, and then you had 11-6. Wait, hold up. I might be wrong on this. I think 11-6, right? Who was 11-6? Was it 11-6? 13-4 was Baltimore. One team went 11-6. Was that Pittsburgh? No, Pittsburgh didn't go 11-6. I think Pittsburgh went 9-8. Oh, it was Cleveland. What am I doing? Cleveland went 11-6 with like no quarterback. So that's what it was. Okay, Cleveland went 11-6. So yeah, really good division. I mean, they're a really good division. So overall, I think they're maybe the first, second division in the league. I think the NFC North is the best, but it's all about this offensive line coming together. So for me, number 4 is the Pittsburgh Steelers in this division. So with that being said, to wrap this thing up about the not getting mad at UD, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Hey, I struggle with this one. I really struggle with this one, man. This was a huge struggle for me to put this together. So with that, to wrap up what the AFC North standings are, I feel like I'd put the AFC South wrong. I think this is where I had the standings, though. Anybody that watched the AFC South run, please let me know if I have this wrong, but I think this is right. I think this is where I had it. This is the... Let me get myself off the screen here. Oh, not that one. Boom. This is my AFC North standings. Oh, this one is useful. Okay, cool. AFC North standings for the season coming into this year. These are crazy. These are crazy. I think AFC South, right, though. That's obviously the craziest one. Tonight, the Texans won, put the Colts won, put the Jaguars at 4 is nuts. AFC East is nuts because I got the Jets at 1. AFC West, I feel good about Kansas City, but beyond that, like I don't dislike the Chargers. I don't love their roster, but I love Harbaugh, so I'm going to do that. Then the AFC North, I got the Browns one. Like, this feels insane, but it also feels like it's going to help me hit that mark of new teams making the playoffs, because the NFC may be more of a struggle for me there, but the AFC definitely is going to help me. So that is the AFC predictions in terms of standings and where they finish next year. We will do like predictions in terms of like okay, what does the playoff bracket look like? We may even do records, but I left it out. I just went standings here. So that is my AFC North AFC predictions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, man. If you by the time this thing ends, as I always say, hey, put in the comment section below. Let me know. Give me some comments because we're always going to react to these. And this would be a really good one to put your comments to react to because I'm sure the comments are going to think I'm absolutely crazy. So with that, the final thing we got to do before we get out of here is we are going to react to last week's comment section, man. Last week's comment section. I'm worried that the Colts versus Lions is a trap game. Yo, I personally don't even think it's a trap game. I mean, I put them first in the league. I think the Colts are going to be a heck of a team. It's just like the receiver position. They need Adonai Mitchell to help them. They need their quarterback to take a step up big time, and they need him to be healthy because I actually think, I said it many times, but I think last season, why is he slipping my mind? I think last season that their quarterback was the second best quarterback. Who slipped my mind here? Who's their quarterback last season? The little dude, he went over to the, oh my goodness. Oh, hold up. This is going to drive me nuts, man. Gardner Minshew. I thought Gardner Minshew was better last season than Anthony Richardson. So they needed him to take massive steps. Their back end is super questionable still because they're relying on a lot of young guys. They got a lot of questions outside of their front seven. So I can understand people thinking that's absolutely crazy, but I'm going to rock with it. So the last thing we have to do, let's go to our last live stream. If you are here right now after the stream ends, man, make sure you throw some comments in there. Let me know what y'all are thinking about anything because I'm just going to react to them. That's just what we're doing. We had a crazy comment about the about my mustache last week, which was nuts. I mean, that felt unnecessary. That was like, yo, come on, man. Okay. So let me get over to this one. Our last show was, what was it? Was it Jack Campbell? Yeah, it was was that the last one? Jack Campbell, Broderick Martin? Yeah, that was our last show, episode 7. Let's see what the comment section has to say about this one. Oh boy, there's more comments over here. Okay, so y'all were definitely on the comments. Here we go. First comment from my man Nick, who says you have to put the original video link in the information area. You get to clicking more right under the screen. Wait, what? Ideally, dude, I cannot read this at all. Hold up, why can't I read this? And ideally, make a pinned comment with the link to the channel. So if it's the top of the comments, wait. I don't know what he's talking about. Nick, I don't know what you're talking about here, man. Nick, if you're here right now, I don't think you are, but if you are, I don't know what original video link you're talking about. I must have. Oh, wait, are you talking about the Kali Freeman one? Did I mention the Kali Freeman video? And I was like, yo, you should check out the Kali Freeman video. That might have been what it is. I don't really know what video you're speaking to, though, to be honest with you. I can do it. I just don't know what video you're speaking to. So, okay. Unless you're saying, yeah, I don't know what that video is. Because you're not talking about the video you're watching. I don't know. I have a strong feeling we're wiping butt this year. Okay, I don't disagree with that. We are absolutely going to do that this year. Nah, dog, that mustache is necessary. No, that's crazy. That's actually crazy, DTF, man. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy that you said that, to be honest with you. I'm a little disappointed in you. Lions on the Hunt 313 says, I don't think the Lions will want Jack Campbell. Wait. I don't think the Lions will want Jack Campbell, who's... Oh, wait, okay, I stopped too early. I don't think the Lions will want Jack Campbell, who's almost 6'5", to play 230. That would be ludicrous. Did I say that? I may have said that. I thought I did. I didn't. I know I said that I didn't want him too light because he was 249 when he tested in. Like he's in the 245 kind of range. Okay. No, I mean, I don't disagree with that. He's young. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. He's young, and I would expect him full offseason to be at least 245, increase his range, flexibility, and core strength. That's all the things we talked about. So I don't have an issue with his range, actually. His length is a problem. But flexibility, core strength, I agree with those. So I like that one. Why are you disappointed? I support your must. Oh, okay. No. Nah, dog, it must. Oh, okay. No, hold up, man. I'm reading stuff wrong, bro. I don't know what's going on. I can't read today. I read that as like you were agreeing with the dude that was being a hater. I'm like, come on, man. All right. No. You're right. Okay. Appreciate you, D fan, man. We're losing 2 games, 3 games, max. Okay. I appreciate that comment. I like that. Yes, sir. I gave a dislike because the beats are degenerate music. Wait, what? Okay. Okay. Hey, they copyrighted me for it, so I mean, it is what it is. They copyrighted me for something. You know what I mean? So maybe they agree with you. Um, okay. I mean, I don't know if that deserved a dislike, but all right. I ain't giving you a like, you know what I'm saying? I might give you a dislike too, my boy. All right, let's continue. We got my man who responded to the Lions are losing 2 to 3 games max by saying, LMAO, they gave 11 games versus 9+ win teams from 2023. And if that were last year, so was the team success. They are going to lose much more this year. Significantly. They will struggle to complete for a wild card. Wow. Okay, Thomas, I think you're on one, man. So you think we're going to struggle to compete for a wild card? Hold up. Y'all might have to get on Thomas for this last one, bro. Hey, chat, I need y'all to go to last episode's comment section after this one. Let Thomas know he's crazy. Let Thomas know he's crazy. They gave us 11 games versus 9+ win teams. I don't really understand the comment, to be completely honest with you, but I see what he's saying a little bit, sort of. I don't know what he's saying, actually, but he did say that we would struggle to compete for a wild card. Thomas, you're crazy. You're crazy. So, I don't even know who this picture is in your picture here. Who is this? But all right, Thomas, I appreciate the comment. I'll like that one. I'll like it so y'all can see it. Okay, I'll like this one too. I like the Spider-Man picture, but you know the music, yeah. If you want to play music, you have to say I own no rights to this music repeatedly. Yeah, you know what? That's honestly probably where it's at right now. I probably would have to do that. 2 people like that. I hear the music, Detroit Lions. Okay, Kenneth. Hey, shout out to Kenneth, man. Kenneth's been in like every single comment section. And then finally, we have Joel who says undefeated Super Bowl champs this year and beating Kansas City. See, I don't know if you pronounce it Joel or Joel, but that's what I'm talking about, man. Joel, why didn't you respond to Titus like that? You know what I mean? Joel, I need y'all to get on Titus, man. I can't do this. You know what I mean? I can't be the only guy that's like, yo, you're crazy. Or not Titus. Yeah. No, Thomas. Get on Tom, not Titus. Titus is cool. He didn't like the music or whatever. But Thomas, y'all need to tell Thomas he's crazy. He responded to Between the Buds. Tell Thomas he's crazy about competing for a wild card. Man, Thomas, I'm going to try to read your comment one more time. I don't really understand it, though. LMAO, they gave 11 games versus. Oh, no. I got it. You're saying that they gave us 11 games versus 9+ win teams for 2023. Got you. Okay. And if that was last year, so was the team's success. They going to lose more this year. Okay, no, I mean, that's fair. You could say we're going to have a worse record than last year. I'm not mad at that. But I think you're crazy saying we're going to fight for a wild card spot. I mean, I think that's crazy. Let me look. What's he talking about? It's just a tough schedule. But here's the thing, though. Everybody's got a tough schedule in this division. I mean, everybody does. Let me see. 2024. Okay. I think there's like a little article here that actually kind of breaks it down. So let me see. How Lions, Packers, Vikings can capture division. Okay. Yeah, that thing's not going to help me. I'm not mad at it. All right. You know what? I'm less mad. Now that I read it correctly, I'm less mad. I'm less mad at you, but you are still crazy. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, man. I appreciate y'all joining. This was a long one. Tomorrow we will be back. That's the plan. Getting prepared for training camp. We're going to go through some battles, all of those things, man. So make sure you tune in tomorrow as we're going to go through all of that. And then Wednesday, I mean, honestly, tomorrow night we might be back if we get some news from training camp. I don't know. I'm planning on going tomorrow morning, though. And then after that, for the rest of the week, it's probably going to be after training camp. So later in the day, at night, we will have some sort of like reaction to everything that was said or all the notes that we have because I won't be back until I don't get back until 7 usually during the week. I leave at about 2, get back at about 7. So, we may have to go later the next couple of days, but we'll be back. We'll be back and we're going to react to this stuff. And then, we're right on the way. Saturday training camp for fans. So excited about that. Each time you shave off the stash, it comes back a little bit stronger. Just saying, be well off. If I shave it, bro, that thing won't come back for 3 years, dog. I ain't even gonna lie to you. So, hey, yo, straight up. Straight up. I don't need it going crazy, though. I don't need it going crazy. I think it's fine how it is. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, Ken, though. I appreciate you, Ken, with a little insight there. I've heard that before. I appreciate that. I think we're going to stomp. Okay. The truth later, y'all. Later, the truth. And yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all joining, man. Leave a comment on this video or this live stream after it's posted so that I can react to them next show. But if I read anything I did like I did this show, you might as well not even leave a comment, dog. I ain't even mad at you, bro, because for some reason I could not read. I don't know what was going on. Oh no, they got me. They didn't get me for the beat. They got me for some clip I had in the last video. Man, y'all copyrighted me for a clip. What clip did I put in there? I don't know, man. YouTube be hating, dog. Man, okay. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm not gonna dispute it because I don't even know what it is. Whoa, what? All right, whatever. I'm gonna trim it. All right, whatever. All right, cool. All right, man. We out. Appreciate y'all joining. I will see y'all soon. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll see y'all the rest of this week. Training camp is here. We out.